Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Cover more of the zone. And
Steven drives one to right on the run. Acuna. He dives, can't get it. It'll go to the wall. Jones scores. Here comes Stephen Kwan. He scores two. All the way to third with a two-run triple.
First pitch is by third. Reds win. Hayes hammers it down the line. Friedel scores.
Mookie hits a high fly ball. Left field and deep. This ball is gone. First third down for Chicago. 3rd and 5. Williams in. Rhythm again. There's Zacchaeus. And Olamide Zacchaeus takes it to the end zone for the Bears touchdown. Sheffler. Can you believe what you just saw?
Well, what another great weekend of sports. Boy, if you just listen to those little highlights there, man alive. Good stuff. Baseball, football, Scottie Sheffler, the PGA Tour's machine with another win yesterday. Oh, and here we go. It is opening week of the high school football season. The Guardians are playing with a little bit of fire. Joe Flacco is your starting quarterback. Who's going to be number 2? Welcome in, everybody. The Sam Bourquin Show is rolling right here on AM 1310 WDPN from the Carnation City of Alliance, Ohio, and all over on our stream on the AM 1310 WDPN Facebook page, our X page, and, of course, the Q92 radio page on YouTube. Welcome in, everybody. Sam Bourquin here. Ryan Rainsberg on the other side of the glass. Welcome into the Monday edition of the program. We've got our poll question today on this day in sports history coming up a little bit before 5:30. Are we ready? How was everybody's weekend? Was it good? Was it relaxing? Did you get some work done? Fun work, not like, pushing a pencil and firing away on the keyboard. Did you get some fun work done? Maybe a little yard work over the weekend? Oh, it was hot. It was real hot over the weekend, but if you picked and choose your times, you got a little relief to get some stuff done over the weekend. Hope everybody was safe over the weekend. Glad you're with us here on this Monday afternoon. Get the phone numbers out there to you. 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. Text line always available for you at 330-924-7088. And we are off and rolling today. All right. Just kind of trying to figure out, the Guardians have been stinking up the joint the last weekend, got swept by the Braves. They're in a little bit of a pickle now. They're in a little trouble. They're 8.5 behind Detroit. And even more importantly, as far as the wild card is concerned, the Guardians did themselves no favors this weekend. They are now 3.5 out of the last spot. And Kansas City is crawling right behind them at 4 out. Red Sox, Mariners, Yankees, your 1, 2, 3 teams in the wild card, followed by Cleveland and then Kansas City. Folks, I got to tell you, we're not going to spend a lot of time on the Guardians today. I am not feeling too good about their position. Not feeling good at all. I never dreamed we'd get swept this weekend. I didn't see it. I didn't have that on my bingo card at all. I thought we would actually take 2 out of 3. But maybe we should have been forewarned a little bit the way they played against the Marlins. Kind of a loosey-goosey team. They got some hitters. They put the ball in play. They make contact. And our guys left a small village on base almost every game this weekend. So I'm not feeling really good about the Guardians right now. So they got on a plane yesterday, and they flew out to Arizona. They've got 3 with the Diamondbacks coming up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I don't feel good now. 123 games into the season. And now is not the time to go into a swoon, which is exactly what we've done. Our offense has been very, very anemic. Very anemic. And you just got swept by a team that was over 15 games under 500. Okay? Atlanta Braves aren't all that. I mean, they're not the worst team in the league, but they're not very good. And they came in here and they paddled Cleveland's behind Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that's where you're at. No longer is it must-win series for Cleveland. I think some of these series, it's a must-sweep series if they have any aspirations at all of getting back into the wild card race. Just didn't see that coming, man. Didn't see that coming against the Braves. How many guys we leave on base yesterday? 15? 16? Didn't have a great weekend out of Hosey. Quan was decent with the bat, but had a terrible pop-up on a bunt attempt yesterday with 2 men on in the 8th inning. And we just didn't get it done. Didn't get it done. Meanwhile, Detroit, 73-53, back to 20 games over 500. But the Guardians have some work there. Now, did you see they transferred Tristan McKenzie to AAA? They are obviously they are desperate. The Guardians are desperate now on all fronts. And now it's even reached the pitching situation now. They may be calling McKenzie up at some point. They're just looking for anything. Something. Slade Ciccone has been brutal the last 2 outings. That's my guy. But I got to call it as I see it. He has not been very good at all. Not at all. We're not getting the hits when we need them. Again, leaving so many guys on base the last weekend. Even left a lot of guys on base against the Marlins. And we're just not getting it done. I don't think this team's, staggering and tired right now. I don't know. But not looking good. Not a good weekend series at all. So let's go to the Browns on Saturday afternoon. I did get to watch a little. And I don't know what I was thinking about Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning. I'm like, okay, got to make time to watch the little Browns. And you know me, I'm Mr. Hate to go inside and watch TV during the weekend when it's nice. I hate it. I hate it. I don't like to do it. Even when it's a little bit steamy and uncomfortable outside, I would rather be outside and maybe, go under the umbrella on the patio, or I just hate being indoors when it's nice. So I was like, all right, well, I got to carve some time out. So did some running around Saturday morning and got back home like 12:15, 12:30. I was like, I'll put the game on here about 1 o'clock and check out Shador. And oh, wait a minute. He's not playing. So now my attitude completely changed to, do I really need to watch any of this game at all? So I watched the first couple of series because I wanted to see what Dylan Gabriel looked like. Not bad. Looked like he had pretty good control of the offense. Got a ball batted down. Gosh, he's tiny. He looks so small compared to everybody else out there. I mean, I know they've got him listed at 6 foot. No way. There is no way he is 6 feet tall. None. I don't even think he's 5'10". But he looked like he had pretty good command of the offense, pretty good command of getting the guys in and out of the huddle, getting them up to the line, getting the play going, getting the ball snapped. A couple times he had to take some sacks. Once you get to 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, it's time. There was a fumble as well. Of course, he had that pick six. But I don't think he was bad. And then I'm like, well, I don't really need to watch the rest of this. No disrespect to Tyler Huntley, but I mean, at that point, what was there to really watch? So, poll question today, who will be named the Browns' number 2 quarterback behind Joe Flacco? If you missed it, the world's worst-kept secret today, Joe Flacco officially named by the Browns as their starting quarterback. So who do you think the number 2 quarterback is going to be? Is it going to be Shedeur or is it going to be Kenny Pickett? Early results on the Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day. 68% say Shedeur Sanders. 27% Kenny Pickett. 5% say Tyler Huntley. You can take the quiz at AM 1310 WDPN on Facebook, on X. You can also take it on my Facebook page as well. Drop us a comment on the Q92 radio page on YouTube. So what do you think? Kenny Pickett or Shedeur Sanders? We haven't seen a lot of Kenny Pickett. He's had that hamstring injury. But apparently they being the Cleveland Browns, they being Andrew Berry, they really like Pickett, man. They really do. Like obviously they liked Gabriel. They wanted to pick him in the 3rd round. But if I had to pick right now, I don't know. I'd like to say Shedeur, but I don't know what I'm trying to read the mind of the Cleveland Browns, and folks, that's sometimes you just can't use logic when you're trying to get inside of the building up in Berea and figure out what they're trying to do. I don't know. You try to learn by what you hear, what you see, a little video clips, you listen to the press conference, and of course, Stefanski doesn't really give you anything. Doesn't really give you anything. But I would say right now, I haven't seen enough of Pickett. I can't form an opinion there. And we just saw a little bit of Gabriel. Who should be the backup? Sanders, Pickett, Gabriel, Huntley? Who do you think the number 2 quarterback will be? 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. We'll get into that here this afternoon.
Hey, Sam, we got a comment from Mike on Facebook that says, Sam, he looks like a high school kid out there.
He does. Again, I'm not the official measuring unit of the Cleveland Browns, but I'll tell you what, I bet you he's like 5. I'm going to say 5'10" and a quarter. I think that's it. And then I was watching his interview with Aditi on the sidelines. He took his helmet off. I said, yeah, he looks like he's about 15. But kid wins. He won at Oregon. Got him to the number 1 ranking for several weeks. Kid's been around, went to a couple colleges. But he seems to grasp and pick things up quickly. And in the NFL, that's really important. You got to get up to the line. You got to see things. You got to absorb, and you got to snap the ball, and you got to go. You got to make a decision. You got to make the right decision. You got to find the window zone. You got to throw the ball in there. You got to throw guys open. That's the saying in the NFL. Throw guys open. So we'll see. Rams on Saturday, I believe, at Cleveland Browns Stadium. And that's it. And you get that little time off before the regular season begins with a game against Cincinnati. I'll say this. Way more people at the Morgan Wallen concerts over the weekend than it will be at the Cleveland Browns Stadium for the game against the Rams. Okay? That place was wild over the weekend. I know a lot of folks that went up to both shows. A couple went up to Friday or Saturday night. They said it was insane. But yeah, 3rd preseason game. You'll probably if Pickett can play a little bit, if he's healthy enough, he'll get some snaps. Shedeur, I don't know if they even want to screw around with his oblique injury and run him out there against the Rams. I don't know. And I'm assuming Huntley will get some snaps. I'm assuming Gabriel. But we'll see. But now it's the battle for number 2. That's really the only big question left. Flacco named the starter. Who's the number 2 quarterback going to be? And I heard some rumblings this morning about maybe the kicking situation's a little bit in flux. Hopkins, I'm not ready to name him the number 1 kicker yet, just from what I've been feeling out the last 2 days. Sounds like they're maybe still looking for somebody. I don't know. I don't know. But kickers can be very fragile, and we saw that last year with Hopkins, and I don't think the Browns want to go through that situation again. All right, big week coming up for us. It is the beginning of high school football here on AM 1310 WDPN. Friday night, Warrensville Heights at Marlington. I will have the call here on 1310 WDPN. My partner, Caleb Norick, will bring you all the action here. Friday night, pregame at 6:30. We'll kick it off from the home of the Dukes at 7 p.m. Also, I will be broadcasting my show live from Marlington Friday afternoon beginning at 3 p.m. So we're excited about that. It's going to be a fun day. Thursday night on Q92, 92.5 FM, it'll be the Perry Panthers and Canton Central Catholic from the home of the Crusaders at 7 p.m. Coach C, I hope you're listening out there. We'll see you Thursday night. Also Thursday night, Sandy Valley Fairless on Q92radiosports.com. So we've got you covered. And then we'll go down all the games coming up on Friday, later on today and the rest of the week. Score 7, baby. We got 7 games for you on Friday night. So we got you covered. Going to be a fun year. Going to be a great year. Let's take a break. 3:25 on your Monday, the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
You've always enjoyed an active lifestyle, hiking with family, resort vacations, the occasional trip to the spa, and nights out with friends at your favorite restaurants. You want and need your lifestyle to follow you into your retirement years. Now, imagine a place with peaceful surroundings, resort amenities, and easy access to city life. It's just around the corner at Copeland Oaks. Copeland Oaks has earned a reputation as more than a retirement destination, but also a place to call home. An independent consultant for senior living rated Copeland Oaks with a perfect score, and it's easy to see why. Maintain your lifestyle on the beautiful Copeland Oaks campus with all the amenities you love, and if you need it down the road, assistance is there. Keep living your life to its fullest at Copeland Oaks, your all-inclusive senior living resort. Visit CopelandOaks.com for more information. That's CopelandOaks.com.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
1310 WDPN. We are broadcasting live. You can check us out on the stream on the 1310 WDPN Facebook page and our WDPN Twitter page or our X page, whatever you prefer. And, of course, the Q92 radio page on YouTube. I believe kids started back to school today. Holy criminy. School today. I think most everybody will be going by tomorrow. I know a couple of schools are going to go Wednesday and Thursday. But here we go. Here we go. We are off and running with the 2025 school year. It's amazing how quickly the summer break, the summer break goes. What do kids have, about 7 weeks of summer now, and it's over? Unbelievable. 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. Who's the Browns' number 2 quarterback going to be? Get your vote in on the 1310 WDPN Facebook page and X page. Who's it going to be? Sanders? Is it going to be Gabriel? Is it going to be Pickett? And is somebody going to get dealt? You can't keep all these quarterbacks. You cannot. You can't keep Flacco, Pickett, Gabriel, and Shador. Nobody goes into the season with 4 quarterbacks. I mean, you could. You can. I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. Now, is somebody going to get moved? Who would get moved? Pickett, right? Well, would that be the guy that you would unload? Or would you just cut Huntley and keep the other 3? I don't know. Not for me to decide. But that's going to be a tough decision, or tough decisions that the Browns are going to have to make. All depends on what they really want to do this year. And by that I mean, are you really trying to win? Like, are you trying to get to the 500 mark? Or are you happy in that 3-4 range and visions of having not 1 but 2 number 1 draft choices next year in the NFL draft? I think we've all agreed. We've talked about this. We've talked about this for weeks. Browns aren't going to really be competitive for the division, and probably until they move into their new stadium. And I'm not trying to be a smart aleck or cause a ruckus, but to me, I think by 2029, they'll be ready to compete for the division. And when I say compete for, I mean have a chance to win it. There's going to be baby steps along the way here. And in my mind, I think you gotta stay the course of this was kind of a blow up, a complete tear down rebuild, and you should approach it at that and stay there. Don't get carried away with certain things and elements that may cause you to change your mind on the big picture. Don't let that happen. And they always let it happen. You got to stay on the course. Got to stay on the course. All right. News and weather coming up. We'll come back with more of the Sam Bourquin Show. Don't forget Steve King from Brown's Daily Dose coming up at 5:35 today. Back to the Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day. Who will be the number 2 quarterback behind Joe Flacco? We got high school football talk. The Guardians are in trouble, and a whole lot more. Stay with us. 1310 WDPN.
The latest news and the current Alliance area weather forecast are up next on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 3:30. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and President Trump are expressing hopes that talks with Ukrainian and European leaders at the White House could lead to bilateral talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin to bring an end to Russia's war on Ukraine.
We're going to have a lasting peace. I hope it's going to be immediately. I hope it doesn't have to go on. And I think people of the whole world is going to be very happy when that's announced.
Today's meeting comes after Trump met Friday with Putin and has said that the onus is now on Zelensky to agree to concessions that he said could end the conflict. Trump said he would back European security guarantees for Ukraine, but we stopped short of committing U.S. troops to the effort. President Trump says he'll sign an executive order to get rid of mail-in ballots and voting machines, repeating claims they lead to voter fraud. Those claims have been refuted by multiple courts, election offices, audits, and other security checks in several elections. Here's Trump in the Oval Office today speaking about his administration's efforts to eliminate mail-in ballots.
We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots.
Trump's comments contradict efforts made by his own party last year during the 2024 election, which encouraged the use of mail-in and early voting, hoping to turn out voters. Texas Democrats have ended a 2-week walkout that stalled efforts to redraw congressional districts as part of a national partisan brawl over President Trump's desire to reshape U.S. House maps to his advantage. Their return today to the Texas Capitol allows the Republican-led legislature to proceed as California Democrats advance a counter-effort to redraw their congressional boundaries in retaliation. The tit-for-tat puts the nation's 2 most populous states at the center of an expanding fight over control of Congress ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. Conservative media outlet Newsmax is paying more than $100 million to settle defamation claims brought by voting machine companies. ABC's Brian Clark has more on the latest settlement.
Newsmax says it stands by its coverage as fair, balanced, and conducted within professional standards, but agreed to pay Dominion Voting Systems $67 million in a settlement. A Delaware judge had ruled that Newsmax defamed Dominion by airing false information after the 2020 election. A jury was going to decide how much Newsmax would have to pay. Dominion says it's pleased to have settled this matter.
It's 80 degrees in Alliance at 3:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Forecast calling for sunny skies this afternoon with a high near 81 degrees, light northeast winds, patchy fog overnight, otherwise mostly clear, a low around 59. Patchy fog early Tuesday, otherwise sunshine and a high near 88. For Wednesday, a 40% chance of showers or thunderstorms, otherwise partly sunny, a high near 86. Thursday, mostly sunny, a high of 84. That's your WDPN weather.
Music and intelligence for your life.
No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
I'm John Tesh, and we couldn't be happier about bringing you intelligence for your life every day. We have a room full of researchers gathering the information and ideas you need to make your life simpler and better, and to make you the smartest person in the room. Join me for Music and Intelligence for Your Life, 10 to 3, Monday through Saturday, only on AM 1310 WDPN.
You heard it on the John Tesh Radio Show.
California.
1310 WDPN. Welcome back to the Sam Bourquin Show. Got an email here from Buck. Now, it took me 3 times, but I finally figured out what he was trying to say. He says, Sam, regarding the Guardians, the only trip they're going to take in October is Cancun. When you lose 2 pitchers to suspension, you trade a starter, you trade a power bat that played first base. How are you going to be able to overcome all of that? Franchise didn't spend a nickel. Okay, yeah. October they could be going to Cancun. Right now, it looks like they are not going to the postseason. Right now. Things are not looking good for the Guards. Not looking good. Like I said at the Open today, it's not going to be just must-win series. It's going to be must-sweep series, ones that are coming up. You're playing an Arizona team. I know they're going to be at home and this and that and the other. But you're going to need to sweep that series. Because the Yankees and the Mariners and the Red Sox are just kind of, Boston's been flailing a bit. Their last 10, they're 4-6. Yanks are starting to play a little better, 7-3. And Seattle is just kind of hanging there at 6-4, their last 10. Interestingly enough, Boston and Seattle are both 68-57. The Yankees are 67-57. So the Red Sox and Mariners have played one more game than New York. Guards have played 163. This will be 164 tonight. And they are 3.5 games behind New York for that last wild card spot. Not looking good. That was just a bad weekend for Guardians baseball. That's just all there is to it. Bad weekend. Couldn't get a clutch hit to save their life. Slade Ciccone had a terrible outing. Logan Allen did not pitch really well. And you have to admit, and I don't even like bringing up these guys' names because they're not part of the team anymore because of their stupid decision with the gambling. But Ortiz and Clase, this is probably when it's going to start affecting them. Because that's 2 arms that you relied on, one to eat innings as an opener, as a starter, and another guy to come in and close the game out, and they're not there. So now you've had to elevate a couple of other guys to the pen. They're getting a lot more work now, being counted on a lot more heavily, And you could see maybe that is starting to take its toll. Maybe starting to take its toll. You know, it's been warm. The bullpens had to pitch a lot. These last 4 or 5 games, they've had to pitch a lot. And maybe this is about that time of year. Maybe some of these guys have actually hit a wall a little bit. Never in a million years did I think that the Guardians would get swept by the Braves over the weekend. Man, especially after that Marlins series, I was counting on 2 out of 3. Get me 2 out of 3. Couldn't get 1. You can't play that kind of baseball when you're playing catch up. You're trying to chase New York. You're trying to chase Boston. You're chasing Seattle. And now you're on the cusp of being overtaken by Kansas City. Here come the Royals at 63 and 61. They're a half game behind Cleveland. They did not do themselves any favors over the weekend, I'll tell you that. 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. Poll question of the day. Who is going to be the Browns' number 2 quarterback behind Joe Flacco? 330-821-1310. You can text us at 330-924-7088. I came up with this question today, folks. I can't give you an honest answer. I can't give you an honest answer. Who the backup will be? Shedeur, Pickett, Gabriel. I guess I've got to see more. I like what I saw out of Gabriel. I didn't love it, but I liked it. Shedeur, to me, looked pretty good against Carolina for what it was. And when I put it to you that way, it's against, who he was going against, most of their number twos. I don't know if Gabriel went up against any Philly number ones Saturday. I don't think he did. And then we haven't seen Pickett. So, what do you think? Who would be the best? Who do you think right now has put themselves in the best? Let's put it that way. Who has put themselves in the best position to be the number 2? In most camps, people would say, "My God, what are you worried about the number 2 quarterback for?" Why? Why are you worried so much? Well, Uncle Joe's 40 years old. He could get hurt. One play. And then, next man up. Who is it? Sanders, Pickett, Gabriel. Who's going to be called upon to go in there and take over the reins if Joe can't go? Or maybe Joe really struggles. Maybe it has nothing to do with his health. Maybe he just really struggles. What if he has a couple of games like he did in the playoff game against the Houston Texans a couple of years ago? 2 pick sixes, quarterback rating of, it was bad. What if he comes out and has a couple of those kind of games? Or depending on the philosophy of the Cleveland Browns franchise, do you just keep running Joe Flacco out there? Because really that's what you're trying to do in the first place. I guess you got to wait and see. The first 7 games of the schedule are brutal. They're brutal. And they could very easily go 0-7. 1-6. I would be shocked if they get to 2-5 I think that might be cause for celebration. Just on paper. I know we don't play the games on paper. It's the NFL. Anything can happen on any given Sunday. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But if they could win 2 out of their first 7, I think that would be a major win, considering the schedule that they have coming up. But 1-6, 0-7 is very, very doable for this team. Was thinking about it today. Was looking at the number ones, how I think they want it to be. I think if nobody else gets hurt, everything kind of stays as it's supposed to be. Your offensive line, elderly, but solid. Conklin, Antonio, Teller. Okay, those are your 3 solid guys. Ethan Posick, pretty solid. Your wide receiving core is what it is. Now, the Browns reportedly signed receiver Isaiah Bond to a 3-year, $3 million deal today after he was not charged as part of a sexual assault investigation. So this guy most likely would have been a 2nd or 3rd round pick in the draft. 21 years old, but he went undrafted because of the sexual assault charges. And those came out just 2 weeks before the draft. So everybody kind of ran away from him. Bond claimed that the accusations were untrue. He turned himself in. He was able to post $25,000 bail following the arrest. And news came out last week that Bond was no billed by a grand jury in Texas, meaning not enough evidence to charge him. So shortly after he was no billed, he comes out and says, hey, I'm going to sign with the Browns. But they made that move official today, 3 years, $3 million. What a country. So we'll see what he's got. I know he can burn. I know he can fly. He's close to a 4.3 guy, maybe a little bit over. But I can't count on anybody else on this team to catch a ball. Tillman? I mean, you got Jerry Jeudy, who had a fantastic year last year. I don't know if he can repeat that again. We'll see. Thrash? I mean, who else is going to catch the ball? I'll tell you who I'd be throwing it to. I'd be throwing it to the former Kent McKinley Bulldog and Bowling Green Falcon, Harold Fannin Jr. That's where I'd be throwing it. At least I know he can catch. And I know he can make plays. He's not a burner by any stretch of the imagination. But you got to catch the ball before you can do anything. So I might be looking at Harold Fannin. Go make me some plays, young man. Wide receiver, tight end, slot, split, right? I don't care. Line him up and throw it to him. Get him the ball and let him do something. Because our wide receiving core, there's just not much there. There isn't. Now, I don't know about Isaiah Bond. I don't know what he will bring. I have no idea. We will certainly talk to Steve King from Browns Daily Dose about the Browns receiving core, about who the number 2 quarterback will be. We've always known it was going to be Joe Flacco at number 1. Now we're just trying to figure out who the number 2 is going to be. By the way, that is the Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day. Who will the Browns' number 2 quarterback be? Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders, or Dylan Gabriel? Take the quiz right now, AM 1310 WDPN on Facebook and on the WDPN X page as well. Nothing really crazy going on with the NFL over the week. Now, I know that I know there's been talks. I don't know. I don't know how much I put into this. That Trey Hendrickson, he has not come to a deal with the Cincinnati Bengals, and there was talks over the weekend that he could be traded. And of course, the Browns were one of the first teams to be brought up in the story as a possible landing place, but that's not going to happen. You're not going to trade Trey Hendrickson to the Cleveland Browns. Come on. But a lot of teams will be in the mix. NFL Network actually reported Sunday that they're open to trade discussions. Now, the asking price for somebody like Trey Hendrickson is going to be huge. Bengals are going to want a haul for Trey Hendrickson. An absolute haul. Some folks are reporting that the Bengals are going to ask for a young defensive player and a 2026 first-round pick as compensation in a possible trade. That according to Diana Rossini from The Athletic. Trey's good. I'll give you that. He's a player. But the Browns don't. No. Just forget that. Just forget that. Caleb Williams looked pretty good yesterday. I know preseason, but he looked pretty good. 38-0 Bears over the Bills in Chicago yesterday afternoon. We played one of Caleb's touchdown pass highlights in our show open. He looked pretty good. I think he and Ben Johnson are going to work really well together in Chicago. And again, I know it's only the preseason. But Caleb Williams looked pretty good. Bears put 28 points on the board in the first half. Of course, the Bills, they didn't really play anybody. I saw Mitch Trubisky went 7 of 13 for about 55, 60 yards. Bears obviously wanted to, put on a good show for the home crowd that showed up. But I think this is a big year for Caleb Williams, too. I think this is the big year for him. I think he will have a big year. Came with a lot of hype, man. A lot of hype out of USC. Now maybe this is it's time for him to turn it up here a little bit. All right, we're going to step out. 3:51 is your time here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Phone lines are open at 330-821-1310. 330-821-1310. Who's the Browns' number 2 quarterback going to be? Pickett, Sanders, or Gabriel? Let us know. As we get closer and closer to the start of the NFL season, college football is coming up here soon, and this is the opening week for high school football. Can you believe it is here? We're ready. We hope you are as well. Let's take a break on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN.
Looking to beautify your home with all the colors of the season? DeHaas Flowers Greenhouse and Landscaping has 32,000 square feet of greenhouses filled with blooming and beautiful flats of annuals and perennials. So you'll find everything you can imagine and more. Their hanging baskets are overflowing with splendor, plus they have a huge selection of all your favorite hardy vegetable plants. In DeHaas Nursery, you'll find thousands of trees and shrubs on an acre and a half. And right now, the rhododendrons are blooming beautifully in lush and novel colors. The vibrant blooms of the easy-to-maintain knockout roses will knock you out. DeHaas decorative bird baths, statues, and pottery will add the perfect accent to your landscape. Just a mile south of State Street on the corner of Beach and Beechwood is a wonderland of color. That's DeHaas Flowers, Greenhouse, and Landscaping in Alliance.
Did you know that in Stark County there are over 750 active 4-H members? Hi, I'm Ashley Wentling, and I raise dairy beef feeders, dairy beef steers, and market beef steers. Through the 4-H program, kids have the opportunity to learn about science, agriculture, cooking, sewing, leadership, character, and so much more. You can help support the local 4-H program by making a donation or a purchase during the Stark County Junior Fair livestock sale starting August 27th through the 30th. Support your local 4-H and visit juniorfairauctions.com for more information.
I'm Scarlett Johansson. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. You can join the movement to end hunger by donating, volunteering, and advocating. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN. It is week 1 of the high school football season. Can you believe it? You better. We got you covered. Thursday night, a doubleheader. Q92 radiosports.com. It'll be Sandy Valley and Fairless. And on 92.5 FM, it'll be Canton Central Catholic hosting the Perry Panthers. Thursday night's game at 7, Friday night game at 7. Both nights pregame begin at 6:30. So make sure you check us out all season long. High school football, 1310 WDPN and our sister station, Q92, and of course, the Q92 Radio Sports Network. Whew. By the way, I'll be doing my show live from Marlington Friday at 3, and we'll take you up until 6. We'll take a little break. We'll come back with the pregame at 6:30. Marlington, Warrensville Heights, from the home of the Dukes, Friday night right here on 1310 WDPN. Looking forward for that. Now, am I going to have to take a fan or a window air conditioning unit to Marlington on Friday? I'm going to have to reach out to my guy, Scott Stair. Do I need to bring some kind of a cooling device on Friday? I think we're looking at like 86 for a high temperature and low around 62, 63 on Friday night. And the good news is no rain at all in the forecast here the next 4 or 5 days. Might get a sprinkle here and there, but as far as measurable rain or anything like that, I think we're in good shape.
We got a comment on Facebook from Matthew that says, "Go Perry Panthers. I hope that they have a great season, and good luck to you, Sam, on this station. Make Perry proud, and we hope that we can see you at some Perry football games at Perry High School."
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. You know, it's funny. Central and Perry have been playing on Thursday nights the last couple of years. And I would have swore, and I know a lot of us here in the building, we had heard or thought that they were going to go back to playing on Friday. So we were, putting the schedules together and, our broadcast teams. And then like a couple days later, we found out that the game was going to be on Thursday. So they're going to keep it there. Yeah, Matthew, appreciate the message. Of course, I went to Central Catholic, proud graduate, and I was actually a sub at Perry last school year. So got to meet and see a lot of make a lot of new friends over the last school year. So that was cool. Hope to see you guys and girls out at some of the ball games this year. That's a good little rivalry. That's a good little rivalry. Central, obviously, much smaller as far as enrollment is concerned, but it's less than not even a mile, half a mile from each other. On Tusk, you just go get on 13th Street, you'll be there. Now you'll have to pass 18 stop signs on the way, but It's really a cool rivalry. This will be the 28th meeting between the Crusaders and Panthers, by the way. Shout out to Dougie and the PTO. Perry leads the all-time series 18-9. The Panthers have also won 8 of the last 9. Whew, I didn't think it was okay. Last Central win was 28-27 in overtime, and that was in 2021. In the previous 27 meetings, Perry averaging 26 a game, Central 16. Perry's record at Central 9-5. Panthers' biggest win was in 2002, 57-0. The Crusaders' biggest win was 35-8 back in 2007. So this is the 28th meeting between these two teams. Most of the time, Perry was Division I. Now they're Division II. The Central's been anywhere from Division III to Division VI. But always a fun game. I'm not really a big fan of Thursday night football for high school. I'm not. But if you're going to do it, make it be the first week of the season. After that, Fridays only. If you have to play on a Saturday, I'm okay with that. But not really a big fan of high school ball on Thursday. But if you're going to do it the first week of the season, little standalone game. Same deal for Sandy Valley and Fairless. And it's an opportunity for some of the other schools, some of the other fan bases, just other football fans to come watch you play. Because, their school's not going to play on Thursday. People want to go see a good high school football game, they'll go out to Perry or Central. They'll go out to Fairless or Sandy Valley and check out Tuesday game. And then they'll come right back and they'll get to go to their game on Friday. So it's cool. Hope it works out well for everybody. If you can't make it to either one of those games, we'll have them. Central Catholic Perry, 92.5 FM on Thursday night. And, of course, Sandy Valley Fairless on the Q92 Radio Sports Network Thursday night as well. All right, 1 hour in, 2 big hours to go. Keep it right here, 1310 WDPN, the Sam Bourquin Show. Hope your Monday is going well. Stay with us.
News, weather, sports, local information, and music 24 hours a day. This is AM 1310 WDPN Alliance.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. At the White House, President Trump hosting Ukraine's President Zelensky and European leaders on talks to end Russia's war in Ukraine. European leaders pushing for an immediate ceasefire. President Trump says after meeting with Russia's leader in Alaska last Friday, says lasting peace is now more likely.
All of us would obviously prefer an immediate ceasefire while we work on a lasting peace, and maybe something like that could happen. As of this moment, it's not happening, but President Zelensky and President Putin can talk a little bit more about that.
The president suggested Ukraine may have to do a land swap and agree not to join NATO. ABC's Ian Pannell is in Kyiv.
We should be very cautious about using President Trump's phrase, a land swap. I mean, Ukraine doesn't really have much land to claim back from Russia. I mean, tiny sliver at best. So there's no real deal to be done there.
The president says the U.S. would offer security guarantees. This is ABC News.
If you have back-to-school shopping to do, then you should make Macy's your first stop, because Macy's has back-to-school styles from brands like Nike and Jordan, must-have denim from Levi's and Good American, and now Macy's has Abercrombie Kids too. It's all in one place, all at great prices. And here's another reason to come in. If you're already at Macy's and you saved so much, you could stop by the fragrance counter and pick up something for yourself too. The best back-to-school styles are here now at Macy's.
Nothing beats the freedom of the open road. The wind in your face, the roar of the engine. Whoa, except maybe the sudden realization that alcohol and two wheels don't mix. Even one drink can slow your reflexes and impair your judgment. On a motorcycle, that's the difference between cruising home or crashing hard. Ride smart, ride sober, or get pulled over. If you hit the bottle, don't roll the throttle. This message is brought to you by NHTSA.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:02. A former East Canton police officer has pleaded not guilty to charges he submitted false records to be paid for hours he didn't work. 52-year-old Brian Pittman of Louisville was arraigned Friday in common pleas court. He entered the pleas to charges of theft in office and theft. The grand jury issued a secret indictment last month. Pittman resigned in January after more than 2 years with the department. The indictment states he took $1,000 or more, but less than $7,500. The alleged activity occurred between June 2024 and January of this year. The Stark County Sheriff's Office is investigating. A pretrial hearing is scheduled for August 25th. Alliance City Council will meet tonight. On the agenda is legislation to spend $30,000 on a street pavement assessment. The ordinance says the last assessment in 2022 was valuable in deciding streets to be resurfaced over 3 cycles, but is now outdated. Another piece of legislation would direct the Safety Service Director to purchase 2 police cruisers through the state's cooperative purchasing programs or from the lowest bidder. The cost is not to exceed $114,000. 2 women from Canton are among 10 Ohio residents charged with Medicaid fraud and theft. Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost says the group cost the government health care program $1.9 million. Investigators determined 52-year-old Toya Hale and a client were engaged in a kickback scheme that netted them over $10,000. 50-year-old Serena Powell allegedly used her mother's name and provider credentials to bill Medicaid for services totaling over $5,700. 3 of those charged were from Cleveland, with others from Columbus, Avon, Akron, Dayton, and Blanchester. A 2-vehicle crash near Ravenna claims a man's life. The Highway Patrol says 80-year-old Brian Toohey of Pepper Pike was eastbound on Sandy Lake Road in Rootstown Township when he failed to yield at a stop sign at State Route 5. His car slammed into a pickup truck driven southwest on Route 5 by a 41-year-old North Canton man. Both drivers were transported to University Hospital's Portage Medical Center, where Toohey died. Both men were wearing seatbelts. Drugs and alcohol are not suspected factors in the wreck. It happened shortly before 2 p.m. Friday. An investigation continues. A new K-12 building for the United School District is ready for classes. Officials gathered Saturday for a dedication ceremony at the facility in Hanoverton. Construction of the 16,000-square-foot building began in May 2023. Most of the previous facility was demolished last month. A portion was salvaged for renovation. The new building's price tag is nearly $50 million. It was paid for with $28.9 million in state funding through the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission. The rest was covered by revenue from the Nexus gas pipeline and a nearby compression station. 2 women were shot in Youngstown Sunday morning. WFMJ-TV reports police responded just before 5:30 to the intersection of Market Street and Florida Avenue. They found the victims among a large crowd. Officers requested assistance from outside agencies for crowd control. The victims, ages 27, 29, and 32, were taken to Mercy Health. They were listed in stable condition. An investigation is underway. A federal judge has sentenced a Guatemalan national who is also a convicted sex offender to 18 months in prison. Judge Pamela Barker handed down the punishment today to 66-year-old Badilio Ramos. He pleaded guilty in May to 1 count of illegal re-entry of a removed alien. Ramos was given credit for time served and ordered to serve 3 years probation. He was arrested in Youngstown after authorities received a tip about his status as a sex offender. Ramos previously admitted to entering the U.S. in 1990 on a commercial visa. He was later convicted of molesting a child. Ramos served 2.5 years in prison and was deported. He later re-entered the U.S. Ramos was living in Youngstown for 2 years at the time of his arrest. Twin brothers are charged with felonious assault after an incident in Youngstown. 49-year-olds Brian and Ryan Moore of Youngstown pleaded not guilty during arraignment Friday in Youngstown Municipal Court. Police say a woman and her cousin left a bar on Commerce Street early Friday, followed by 2 men who reportedly had made advances toward her. She allegedly punched one of the brothers during a fight. Cell phone video showed Brian Moore holding the victim's head on the ground and Ryan Moore stomping on it. Both men were arrested a short time later. Brian Moore was also charged with drug possession. A preliminary hearing is set for August 25th. A request has been denied by a judge in the case of a father and son accused of killing a mail carrier in Warren. 44-year-old Thomas Sledge and 24-year-old Caprice Sledge are charged with the March 2024 slaying of John Day Davis. Federal Judge Donald Nugent ruled a list of cooperating witnesses is not required to be disclosed at the current state of proceedings. The Justice Department is deciding whether to seek the death penalty. A federal grand jury indicted the men on 1 count each of murder of an officer and employee of the United States and a weapons count. Davis was shot at Scott Street and Olive Avenue Northeast. He was reportedly known by the suspects. A staffing agency is suing Insight Health Systems, the owner of the former Trumbull Regional Medical Center in Warren and Hillside Rehabilitation in Howland. The suit was filed by Advantage Staffing Services. The company worked with the hospital's previous owner, Steward Healthcare, from April 2021 until last September. Insight became responsible for paying for staffing services at that time. Advantage accuses Insight of not paying them since October 2024. Advantage is demanding payment as well as attorney fees. Unpaid invoices between October 2024 and February of this year total roughly $304,000 plus about $26,000 in interest. It's 80 degrees in Alliance at 4:07. This is the local edition of WDPN News. The forecast is next, a service of Canterbury Villa of Alliance. I'm Jeff Mears.
This WDPN weather is brought to you by Canterbury Villa of Alliance, where your loved ones become family. Schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000.
Forecast for the afternoon calling for sunshine with a high near 81 degrees, light northeast winds, patchy fog overnight, otherwise mostly clear, low around 59. Patchy fog lingering Tuesday morning, otherwise sunny with a high near 88 for Wednesday. 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny, a high near 86. Thursday, mostly sunny, a high of 84. That's your WDPN weather.
Send your loved ones to a place that cares and a place that they can trust. They'll find a place that feels like home at Canterbury Villa in Alliance. They will provide the highest level of care to their residents when it comes to skilled nursing, rehabilitation, long-term care, and Alzheimer's care. At Canterbury Villa, your loved ones become family. Located on Freshley Avenue, schedule a free visit today by calling 330-821-4000 and ask for Samantha Nutter. At Canterbury Villa, they walk the talk.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
Cover more of the zone. And Steven drives one to right on the run. Acuna. He dives, can't get it. It'll go to the wall. Jones scores. Here comes Steven Kwan. He scores two. All the way to third with a two-run trip.
First pitch is by third. Reds win. Hayes hammers it down the line. Friedel scores.
Mookie hits a high fly ball, left field and deep. This ball is gone. First third down for Chicago. 3rd and 5. Williams in. Rhythm again. There's Zacchaeus. And Alameda Zacchaeus takes it to the end zone for the Bears touchdown. Sheffler.
Can you believe what you just saw? Can you believe it? Yes, you can. Welcome into the Sam Bourquin Show. It is hour 2, AM 1310 WDPN. Don't forget you can watch us. You can listen to us live stream on the WDPN Facebook page. A lot of you checked in there today. On the WDPN X page. I see you out there. I see you out there. Also, the Q92 radio page on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, follow, and comment on all of our platforms and let us know what you're up to on this Monday. How we doing? Hope we had a great weekend. Big week coming up. We got high school football beginning this week. Browns, Rams coming up this weekend, the third and final. Thank you, Lord. The final preseason game of the season, of the year. Buckeyes and Mount Union getting a little bit closer at each passing day. And then the Guardians just did not have a good weekend. Got swept by the Braves. Guards are 63-60. Now they're 3.5 out of that last playoff spot, that last wild card spot in the American League. Got to turn it around, boys, quickly. Tonight, Diamondbacks await the Guardians for the first of a 3-game series tonight out in Phoenix. I think it's a 9:40 first pitch. But better get it going, or it's going to be too late. Tonight's game 164. I'm sorry, 160. What is it? No, 124. So we're getting there. We're getting there. The Browns confirmed they have signed a wide receiver, Isaiah Bond, to a 3-year, $3 million contract today. So he will join the wide receiving core in Berea. Our poll question of the day: Who will be the number 2 quarterback for the Browns behind Joe Flacco? Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel. Who will the number 2 quarterback be? You can take the quiz right now on X at AM 1310 WDPN or our WDPN Facebook page. We are at I think we're getting close to 300 votes so far. Shedeur Sanders, 64%. Kenny Pickett, 32%. Almost 2-1. Almost 2-1. Will the Browns let Shedeur Sanders be the number 2 QB? They really like Pickett. They really like Gabriel. Shedeur's got a hampered oblique. Little injury there. He did not play Saturday. Most think he will not play against the Rams. Most think that. Today's Monday. We have several days until that game. Gabriel's going to play. Huntley will probably play. Is Pickett able to play? If he is, I'm sure he will get some snaps as well. I just don't know how in the world you go into the season with 4 quarterbacks. Flacco, Pickett, Sanders, Huntley. No, wait a minute. Flacco, Pickett, Sanders, Huntley, Gabriel. So somebody's going to have to go. Who will it be? Who's it going to be? High school football kicks off this weekend. We got a couple of games for you on the Q92 Radio Sports Network on Thursday night on our big flamethrower, the big FM Q92. It'll be Canton Central Catholic hosting Perry. 7 o'clock. Pregame at 6:30. Thursday night it will be Fairless and Sandy Valley. Pregame at 6:30. Kickoff at 7. Friday, we will be in Marlington. The Dukes will take on Warrensville Heights. You can join myself and my broadcast partner, Caleb Norick. We will be broadcasting live our show, 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon from Marlington, the home of the Dukes. Looking forward to that. And then our pregame show will be 6:30, the kickoff at 7 between Marlington and Warrensville Heights. And then Friday night, all along the Q92 Radio Sports Network, we've got you covered. 7 big games on Friday. Make sure you get yourself into the habit. Just do it right now. Why not? Do it right now. Make sure you are with us for all the high school football action. Make sure you like, share, and follow AM 1310 WDPN on Facebook, on X, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure you're following Q92 Sports on Instagram, on Facebook, on X, on YouTube, because that is going to be your ticket to the most comprehensive high school football coverage around. We do more games than anybody in town. They're live and they're free. No charge, no subscriptions, none of that. Free broadcasts, high school football, all season long. Make sure that you are with us. I think you're going to enjoy our product. I think you're going to love listening to games on the radio. You're going to love watching and listening to the broadcast, the audio broadcast on Facebook and X and YouTube. You're going to love the scoreboard graphics that we have for you this year. It's going to be cool. It's going to be really, really cool. So make sure you're kind of in that habit to be with us all high school football season. Okay? I promise you, it's going to be fantastic. Going to be fantastic. 2 games Thursday night, 7 games on Friday. And it's going to be like that all year. Friday night, 7 games all season long. Good luck to all of our teams, too. We got some great men leading our high school football programs. I mean, they're all fantastic. Want to wish everybody all the best this year. Scott Garcia from Glen Oak, Dan DeGeorge of Lake, Jeff Lindesmith, Canton Central Catholic, Brian Baum of Hoover, Nate Moore of Massillon, Spider over at East Canton, Brian Gamble at Sandy Valley, A.J. Sarbaugh at Fairless. I wish Northwest good luck to Coach Johnny DeMarco, Tim Goodman from Alliance, Canton South's Matt Dennison. Shout out Jay Roar Jackson, Kevin Henderson St. Thomas, Chris Kappas from Louisville, Joe Cardinal from Marlington. Looking forward to talking to Coach Cardinal on Friday. Brock Dial, Tuslaw. Coach Goulding, I beg your pardon. Renzi Parnell at McKinley, Zach Slates, Minerva, Spencer Lino at Perry. Good luck to all of you this season. Looking forward to talking with you during the year here on the show. Looking forward to seeing you before games, after games. Looking forward to watching the kids go out there and just lay it on the line every Thursday or Friday or Saturday night. Still the most pure form of athletics there is. High school sports, high school football. Guys just playing hard, playing for their schools, playing for their families, playing for the student bodies, playing for their families, obviously playing for themselves. There's just nothing quite like it. And on a day like today where we're between like 79 and 80, very low humidity, kind of really gets you in the mood for high school football, doesn't it? I know it's tough to think about football when it's like 94 and the humidity is as thick as a steak, okay? But on a day like today, it's just, I wish we had a game tonight. Tonight is just going to be beautiful. I think we're going to get down to like 58, 59 degrees. Well, you can't beat that. And you throw into the fact that it's Stark County, it's Northeast Ohio. Some of the outstanding leagues that we have, the Federal League, the EBC, the PAC. We have tremendous independent schools, teams that are not affiliated with conferences, that play a really strong brand of football. It's going to be a lot of fun. It really is going to be a great season. I'm also happy, teams are going to have to buck up a little this year for the playoffs. Okay, no more free passes. Okay, the top 12 teams are going to make it. We got some outstanding talent, some wonderful quarterbacks coming back, some great defenses coming back. And there's always a little, like a fresh perspective. Like this year, we have 3 new coaches. Spencer Lino at Perry, Zach over at Minerva, and Renzi Parnell at McKinley. It always stays fresh. And then you look at some of the schools, Scott Garcia in his 17th year at Glen Oak. Will they get things turned around? Dan DeGeorge's 13th year at Lake. What a run. What a great couple of runs they've made the last couple of years. Look at Chris Kappas, his 3rd year at Louisville. I know he's really looking forward to, putting his stamp on the Leopards football program. Jay Roar, his 4th year at Jackson. I can't believe it's been 4 years already. Look what he's done with that program. Look at the number of kids that are coming out to play the youth program. Guys on the roster, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, getting more physical. Kids getting in the weight room, getting tougher, getting stronger. Brian Gamble at Sandy Valley, his 9th year already. AJ Sarbaugh, his 8th year at Fairless, they'll kick off against each other on Thursday. Nate Moore at Massillon, all he does is go to state championship games almost every year. Spider over at East Canton, his 10th year. What a coaching career he's had. Jeff Lindesmith filling the shoes of the great Lowell Kleinfelder, his 12th year with the Crusader program. How about Brian Baum? His 11th year at Hoover. Had a great run at Fredericktown. And now look what he's doing with the Hoover football team. Coach DeMarco at Northwest, his 6th year. His 6th year with the Northwest Indians. Matt Dennison at Canton South, what a run they made a couple years ago with Poochie Snyder and the crew. And Joe Cardinal at Marlington, his 3rd year, trying to get the Dukes back. Kevin Henderson at St. Thomas, just trying to build. Trying to get kids to come out and play. Teach them life lessons. Get them to play hard. We got it good around here. We really do. Now, look. It's hard to win the whole thing. It's hard to win the whole thing. And you hear some of the chatter from outside the county. Stark County football is not what it used to be. They can't win the big one. Massillon carries the town, the league. They're not even in a league. They've got our last state championship. The Tigers do. A couple years ago against Hoban. What a night that was for the town, the city of Massillon. You know, Central Catholic's got 3 state titles. McKinley's got, how many they got? 3. St. Thomas has 1. That's it. All of our other schools are looking for that elusive first state championship. Now, I don't know if it'll be this year. I don't know if it'll be 5-10 years from now. But somebody eventually is going to get one. And we'll put our chest out a little bit and say, yeah, we're still here. Stark County's still here. Looking forward to it. Hope you are too. Let's take a break. 330-821-1310. Text line is open for you as well at 330-924-7088. It's the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
You've always enjoyed an active lifestyle, hiking with family, resort vacations, the occasional trip to the spa, and nights out with friends at your favorite restaurants. You want and need your lifestyle to follow you into your retirement years. Now, imagine a place with peaceful surroundings, resort amenities, and easy access to city life. It's just around the corner at Copeland Oaks. Copeland Oaks has earned a reputation as more than a retirement destination, but also a place to call home. An independent consultant for senior living rated Copeland Oaks with a perfect score, and it's easy to see why. Maintain your lifestyle on the beautiful Copeland Oaks campus with all the amenities you love, and if you need it down the road, assistance is there. Keep living your life to its fullest at Copeland Oaks, your all-inclusive senior living resort. Visit CopelandOaks.com for more information. That's CopelandOaks.com.
Hey, Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
Couple of minutes before we get you to the bottom of the hour with the news and weather. Jeff Mears doing an outstanding job again today in our 1310 WDPN newsroom. Sam Bourquin here, Ryan Rainsberg across the glass here inside the studio as we come to you from the palatial estates of 1310 WDPN on Smith Avenue in the Carnation City. 330-821-1310 is our telephone number, 330-821-1310. Well, we are at 416 votes so far on our poll question today. That's the record. Who will be the Browns' number 2 quarterback behind Joe Flacco? Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, or Kenny Pickett? Let us know. Take the quiz right now. All you have to do, just go to Facebook. Boom, you're there. Type in 1310 WDPN. Boom, you're there. There's the quiz.
Buck texted to say Browns used 9 quarterbacks in the last 2 years. He also answered the question with Flacco obviously being the starter, Pickett being the backup, Gabriel third, and Sanders on the practice squad.
Oh, he's got Shedeur on the practice squad.
He does.
Ooh.
Although he says all 4 will get playing time during the season.
Now that I would agree with. I don't think you're putting Shedeur on the practice squad. I don't think I would do that. He won't last there for a day. I think somebody'd pick him up right away. You know, backup quarterbacks are that's one of the toughest things to get and keep hold of and have in the National Football League. You see how guys have gone down the last decade, how starters are just down and out right off the bat with injuries. And who's the backup quarterback going to be? And now even more than it used to be. Now it's the third string guy. Because it's almost you expect your number 1 to get hurt at least and miss a game. Now some guys figure out a way to be healthy. Some guys have great offensive lines, and some guys just have a little bit of luck, and they've got a knack for avoiding the big hit. They have a knack for avoiding the injury. But when you've got 32 teams, I'm telling you, how many of those teams are going to have to go to their backup quarterback this year? For a snap, a quarter, a half, a game, a couple of weeks? It's inevitable. So you better have a good bench. You better have a good quarterback roster on your team. Now, Cleveland's got 4. People say, well, you have to count Watson because he's still in. No. You've got Flacco, Sanders, Pickett, Gabriel, Huntley. Got some decisions to make. Glad I'm not making them. News and weather's coming up next. Stay with us, 1310 WDPN.
Here's the latest news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and European leaders are meeting with President Trump today at the White House. This follows Friday's summit between Trump and Russia's President Vladimir Putin. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers has the latest.
President Trump said he spoke indirectly with Russian President Vladimir Putin before sitting down with Ukraine's President Zelensky today and indicated he would have a call with Putin after his meetings with Zelensky and European leaders. The president said he's still pushing for a 3-way meeting, him, Zelensky, and Putin, but didn't say when or where that could happen.
We're going to have a meeting. I think if everything works out well today, we'll have a trilat. And I think there will be a reasonable chance of ending the war when we do that.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
As a world leader meeting at the White House happens today concerning the war in Ukraine, details of new Russian strikes are becoming known. Here's ABC News foreign correspondent Patrick Revel.
Russia has been continuing its deadly attacks in Ukraine overnight. A Russian drone attack hit a residential building in Kharkiv. At least 7 people have been killed there, over 24 injured, and among the dead, an entire family, including a very young child. At least 3 other people have been killed. Also, in another strike in Zaporizhia, again, around 30 people also injured there.
The Mississippi National Guard will deploy 200 troops to Washington as part of the Trump administration's ongoing federal policing and immigration efforts in the nation's capital. Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves said in a statement today he has approved the deployment of about 200 troops to Washington, D.C. Reeves said that crime is out of control and something must be done. Mississippi joins 3 other Republican-led states that have pledged to deploy hundreds of National Guard members to D.C. to bolster the administration's operation to overall policing in the Democratic-led city through a federal crackdown on crime and homelessness. 2 police officers are dead in Utah after responding to a domestic disturbance call about 70 miles north of Salt Lake City. ABC's Alex Stone has the latest.
Right as the officers arrived on scene and a person in the home opened the front door, the shooter opened fire on the officers, killing 2 who had responded for a domestic disturbance. Detective Crystal Beck.
Upon arrival, they immediately began taking fire. They requested additional units and then stopped answering their radio.
A 3rd officer and a canine were also injured. A resident in the home has been arrested and booked for aggravated murder. A nearby police chief calls the fallen officers heroes. Alex Stone, EBC News.
It's 81 degrees in Alliance at 4:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the latest forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Sunshine continuing this afternoon with a high around 81 degrees. Tonight, patchy fog, otherwise mostly clear, a low around 59. Patchy fog lingering Tuesday morning, otherwise sunshine, a high near 88 for Wednesday. 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms, otherwise partly sunny, a high of 86. Thursday, mostly sunny, a high 84. That's your WDPN weather.
.35 on the Sam Bourquin Show. Welcome back, everybody. AM 1310 WDPN. You know what I think about now when I hear this song? Song is titled Yellow, for those of you that didn't know, or if you are aware. Sung by Coldplay. You know what I think about now when I hear this? The Savannah Bananas. Honest to God. They play this now at all, if not all, most of their games, and they do it like when it gets dark and everybody in the stadium turns on their flashlight on their cell phone, and they play this song. They turn out all the lights, and they play this song. It's really cool to watch. Savannah Bananas were in Chicago this weekend, where the White Sox play. Sold out 40,000 plus both nights, and they did this. You if you want to see what that, it's really cool. Google it, YouTube it. Savannah Bananas, Coldplay, Yellow, Chicago, whatever. It's really neat. But when Rainsburg played, I said, "Oh my God!" That's the first thing I thought of was the Savannah Bananas. Bet you didn't have that on your bingo card today, did you? Welcome back, everybody. All right, Mr. Rainsburg, the population has been dying to know since we left here last Friday. You were asked of your weekend plans.
Oh, yeah.
And you pretty much told us that it was going to be very, very quiet. How was it?
Oh, it was exactly what I said it was going to be. I played Battlefield for 2 days straight.
Oh,
not
my
straight,
God.
But
did you take a break for pulp?
No, I don't do that on the weekends.
Oh, you don't do that on the weekend?
That's a work thing.
Okay.
It's 5 days a week is enough sugar.
Shout out to Pulp, by the way.
Yeah.
High school football sponsors this season, 1310 WDPN Q92 Radio. We appreciate that. I am going to be, where's the quote? You go there every day during the week. Where is there, it's on State, right?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
It's by Buffalo Wild Wings in that same plaza.
Okay, good. All right. I have I'm not a big smoothie guy.
I think it used to be.
I do like their Peach Beach. I do like that one. You know what I love over at Pulp, though, is their peanut butter and banana and yogurt, honey and granola wrap. I think they call it a PG wrap or PB wrap or something. Oh, my God, it's so good. I'm going to get one this week. Have you ever tried one?
I haven't had that one, but their wraps are very good. I like their, I think it's a turkey and honey mustard.
Yep. That's one of them. That's another one.
That's fantastic.
I think it's a PBJ wrap or something.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen that
it's
on there.
PBG. It's peanut butter. They shorten it for peanut butter granola instead of jelly. It's really good. But they put yogurt in there, granola. It's so good. It's so darn good. Oh, I could eat 2 of them.
No, I'm a sucker for a good wrap.
Oh man, they're good. I'm gonna have to hit them up this week. But shout out to Pulp. Appreciate you guys coming on board. Man, there's so many places on state. Oh my God, I'm gonna be 500 pounds by the end of the year. Although I've been making a really conscious effort to get to the North Canton Y. I make a really conscious effort to get there at least 4 days a week. And as the schedule has it, it's usually like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then whatever day I can get in. Get some laps in at the pool, get on the treadmill. I've been slacking on the treadmill. But I've been doing the swimming laps in the pool. But I gotta pick it up a notch because high school football season's coming around. You know what that means? Food in the press box. Mount Union football's coming around. What does that mean? Pizza oven in the press box. And you've been around, and I'm talking to my media friends, and I'm talking to everybody. We in the media, we are straight savages when it comes to food. Like, it's almost embarrassing. But that's part of the deal. That's part of the deal. But the hospitality at all of our stadiums is cool. Obviously, Mount Union does a great job with, they're taking care of the media. Shout out to Nate, Mr. P, Mr. Parnell. Well, the Purple Raiders will be getting going here pretty soon, too. I think, about 3 weeks? Opening day. That's always fun. Always look forward to that. But I got two new broadcast partners here. I got Caleb Norick is going to be doing the high school games with me. Caleb, a former Camp McKinley Bulldog, went to Malone. Got to meet Caleb for the first time at the St. Harlebus football preview a couple of weeks ago. We didn't get to talk a lot. I wanted to get him on the air, but we had so many coaches, and he was unable to stick around. He had some stuff to do. So looking forward to working with Caleb. And then I've got Ryan Bevere going to be working with me during the Mount Union games this year. We're gonna put Ryan to work. Good dude. There's a lot of great people in this business. There really is. A lot of great people. I just, it's really funny. My hearing is so bad, yet I can hear our afternoon guy on the FM. I can literally hear him through my headphones. But if Rainsburg would ask me a question right now, I wouldn't. I'd say, what? What'd you say? Huh?
Well, that's what the microphone's for, Sam.
It's unbelievable. I can hear things from a mile away, but not right in front of me. My sight is the same way. Last night, we were sitting out on the patio, and we were out there. I think we went out there about, 8:10, maybe 8:15. And if you haven't noticed, like the sun starts setting at like 8:20 now, which is like a real kick to the gut because you know what's coming down the road in a couple of months. And we had 5 deer in our backyard last night. They come every night about sunset. So we were sitting on the patio last night, just sitting out there, talking a bunch of nonsense. Our son Dylan's got his first first day of school tomorrow, his senior year at Canton Central Catholic. I wish him all the best. They were just out on the patio, just talking nonsense. And all of a sudden, you can see out of the corner of your eye, here they come. Here comes Papa Deer, here comes the mom, and there's 5 of them. And they literally come right up to our patio. And they are not scared. I'm going to get some video of this one of these nights. I got to figure out how to work my phone so I can actually get a good video of our little deer friends in the dark. It always says put your phone to night mode. So I do. Doesn't do anything. So these 5 deer, every night around sunset, they make their way over to the backyard. And they come right up to the patio. You know why? Because we have flowers. And they are not afraid. Like, they will come up, they will chomp everything in their sight. Then they'll go to the back of our yard where we have our bird bath is set up. We've got water back there, about 3 or 4 bird feeders. They try to stick their nose in there. And then our neighbors to our right, they usually put stuff out on their back deck for the deer, and they'll come over and they'll eat that. And then they'll kind of graze between both of the backyards for about 15, 20 minutes, and then they head off to their next destination. But, it's hard to see them. Like at that twilight time when the sun's going down, it's hard to see them. And we get 5 of them about every night. And they come right, they will come up within, I would say last night they came up within 2 feet of us. Just chomping away. And sometimes we'll go in and get apples, we'll cut them up and we'll throw them out there and they'll. But I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for the day where they come on and they eat out of our hands. I think it's getting close. I think they trust us now. I do. Because we don't really move a lot. We just kind of sit there and let them enjoy what they're doing. But they have no fear. No fear. All right, Sam Bourquin Show, poll question of the day. Who's the Browns' number 2 quarterback going to be behind Joe Flacco? 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. You can text us at 330-924-7088. You can leave us a comment on the Q92 radio page on YouTube. Melvin says Shador. Mark, Shador. Jeff says Shador. Eric says it'll be Pickett. Carl says Shador. Bill says Shador Sanders. John says, is Pickett healthy yet? We don't know. I'm guessing not 100%. Jim says, Sam, I'm betting they will all start at least one game this year. George says, I hope it'll be Sanders. I like watching him play. Kimmy says, Shador will be number 2. Gabriel will be number 3. Matt says it'll be Shador. Larry says it'll be Kenny Pickett. Doug says, well, knowing the Browns, just close your eyes and point. Tracy says it'll be Kenny Pickett. Frank says, does it really matter? Jim says it'll be Pickett. Lenny says, Sam, it'll be Bill Nelson. Doug Parton says it'll be Don Strock. Here we go. Dan says it'll be Pickett or Sanders. I can't make up my mind. Brian says it'll be Shador. Who's going to be the Browns' backup quarterback? Let us know. Drop us a comment on our social media platforms. Browns-Rams coming up this weekend. That'll be the 3rd and final preseason game. Put that to bed, and then get ready for Cincinnati in the opener. Browns are only like a 5-point underdog in that game against Cincinnati, by the way. I know things could change, but that's what the early line is there. Hey, want to let everybody know that I'm trying to hook up with my guy as far as giving you some information this year for college and pro football. If you're going to get into the wagering game a little bit, my guy Ross Benjamin, used to have Ross on my show when I was up in Akron, does a terrific job handicapping college and pro football and trying to work something out where he will come on the show with us once a week, same day during the week, same time, and here on 1310 WDPN, and help everybody out with making your picks, making your selections against the spread, the total, prop bets, things like that. We're trying to work that out. But as soon as I get the go, I'll let you know. But hopefully we'll be able to get my guy Ross Benjamin on this year, one of the outstanding football handicappers in the country. Wanted to get that out there to you. Also want to let you know, every Wednesday during the high school football season at 5:35, we are going to get a visit from one of our newest teammates here at AM 1310 WDPN and Q92, former Camp McKinley football coach. You ready? Antonio Hall is going to be a weekly guest here on the Sam Bourquin Show every Wednesday at 5:35, and we will break down all of the high school football action here in Stark County. Antonio is also going to be a color analyst with Keller on our games on the Q92 Radio Sports Network all season long. But Coach Hall is going to be with me every Wednesday at 5:35 here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Looking forward to talking to the big man every Wednesday at 5:35. We'll break down the high school football for you every Wednesday here on the Sam Bourquin Show. Looking forward to working with Antonio. That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. He'll give us some insight. Doug in the PTO, we have a mom and deer and two young ones that frequent the empty lot behind our fence. They graze in the neighbor's yard next door. Yeah, they're out. The deer are out. And when they're hungry, they ain't leaving. They're not leaving until they're full. Appreciate you checking in, Doug. So, yeah, we're going to have some good stuff coming up here this fall. Actually, really soon. Really soon, we're going to be having some really, really cool stuff. Great program features. We'll have some goodies to give away for you during the season. Talking lots of high school football, and we'll roll that right into high school basketball. That'll be on our sister station, Q92. Courtside with Sammy B. and Lee, my guy Lee Foster. We're getting ready for our third year of high school hoops here in the county. Looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. We have made it through the other side. And when I talk about that in the media, after the Super Bowl and then till about the middle of August, some days are easier than others. But once the football gets going and baseball's in the pennant races and you start to turn the calendar for high school, college, and pro, and then, the playoffs, the World Series, and things just start picking up, and it's like, okay, where do we even begin today? There's so much stuff going on. This is a great, we've made it through, all right? We've made it. And we got some great things coming your way here on AM 1310 WDPN. So make sure you are following us, sharing our social media platform pages. You're commenting AM 1310 WDPN on Facebook, on Instagram, on X, the Q92 radio page, on YouTube, all of it. Make sure that you are locked in. Make sure you're loaded. Make sure you're along for the ride. It's going to be a whole lot of fun here in 2025. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back with more. It's the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN. Stay with us.
When something happens to your car, you might say,
ugh, come on.
Seriously? This is so extra.
But what you could say is,
like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
your local State Farm agent is available when and where you need them, online, over the phone, or even in person. State Farm agents are here to answer your questions and help you file your claim.
This is so extra.
Get someone who can actually help. Contact State Farm agent Rich Plack today.
Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Are you afraid you'll slip and fall entering or exiting a tub? SafeStep walk-in tubs can transform your bathtub from an area of concern to a calming refuge. Call them today at 1-800-498-2098 and save $1,600. SafeStep walk-in tubs and showers are proudly made in Tennessee and offer an ultra-low step-in, avoiding that difficult climb over a traditional bathtub wall. They also offer a variety of therapeutic benefits that may help soothe your aching muscles and joints, increasing your mobility, boosting your energy, and improving your sleep. SafeStep walk-in tubs are designed to easily fit your existing tub space and are often installed in as little as one day. Just dial 1-800-498-2098 today to save $1,600 and receive a free shower package. That's 1-800-498-2098 for a free no-obligation consultation and to save $1,600. SafeStep walk-in tubs. Safety never felt so good.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
Who's the Browns' number 2 quarterback going to be? Behind Joe Flacco, who was announced the starter today, if you missed it. The world's worst kept secret. I mean, was there a doubt? Was there any doubt that Joe Flacco is not going to be the starting quarterback for the Browns? Margaret on Facebook, who I want and who the Browns pick, I'm sure are completely different. Gary says, Dylan Gabriel is my guy for the backup. Sharon says, I'll take Shador, please. How about Richard chiming in on Facebook? Baker didn't start the first game his rookie season. He is 5 times better than either of these rookies. Don't worry, both rookies will play this year. The Browns will have a losing record either way, and one will be used for a trade for next year. Could be. I'm not gonna say no to that. And I kind of hate to look back. And I don't want to start this topic. I don't want to start this argument because we're getting toward week 3 of the preseason, and we have more than a full room in the quarterback room. But you know what? You know what I think about every once in a while? 6. Think about Baker Mayfield. Where would we be now? Just think about it. Let your mind wander a little bit. Where would the Browns be right now if we kept Baker? We didn't go down the Deshaun Watson road of hell. We didn't waste all of that money. The draft picks that we would have kept. Where do you think we would be now? I know I said I wasn't going to bring it up, but, I got a couple minutes here at the top of the hour, and I just had to get it out. And look, I know Baker had his issues here, obviously. Some of the building didn't like him. Some of the coaches didn't care for him. I'm sure some of the players were rubbed the wrong way. Positive. Then he goes to Carolina, kind of fizzles out, went to the Rams for a couple of games, They let him go. Then he ends up with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I know they haven't been to the Super Bowl. No, they haven't been to the NFC Championship game. But they have made the playoffs. They kept the excitement in Tampa after the retirement of Tom Brady. I think Todd Bowles is a really good coach. And I think Tampa Bay I think they found a way to make it work the best. Everybody's happy. The Buccaneers are playing good football. They're in a good division for them. They're still selling out every game. And Baker's making plays. They got Mike Evans. They got a couple of studs on defense. They got a great offensive, Tristan Wirfs, the kid out of Iowa. Now, he's always hurt, but when he plays, he's one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL. Did they have Shaq Barrett was one of their linebackers? I don't think he's there anymore. But just what would life be like for the Cleveland Browns if they would have kept Baker Mayfield? Just on the money situation and the lost draft picks alone. Where do you think we'd be in 2025 with Bake? I think we'd all agree it might be a little bit different. Things would be a lot different up there off West 3rd Street. But we'll never know because he's gone and certainly is not coming back. All right. Jeff Mears coming up, top of the hour. All your news is coming your way. We've got the weather forecast that is coming your way. Don't forget Steve King, Browns Daily Dose, will be joining us at 5:35 this afternoon. Before that, we will have our On This Day in Sports History. We'll check back in on the Sam Bourquin Show poll question of the day on who the Browns' number 2 quarterback will be. Will it be Shador? Will it be Gabriel? Will it be Pickett? We'll see if the Guardians can turn it around against the Diamondbacks beginning tonight. And again, it's week 1 of the high school football season. Lots to get into in the third and final hour here on 1310 WDPN.
An Alliance tradition for over half a century. You can always count on WDPN Alliance.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. At the White House, President Trump leading a working group with Ukraine's President Zelensky and European leaders. Britain's Prime Minister Keir Starmer and EU leaders pushing for Russia to agree to an immediate ceasefire.
We could take a really important step forward today, a historic step, actually, could come out of this meeting in terms of security for Ukraine and security in Europe.
President Trump says after his meeting Friday with Russia's leader in Alaska, it is not likely.
For weeks, the president had been saying that Vladimir Putin had to agree to a ceasefire. He put a timeline on it, saying that he had to do that within 8 to 10 days, or else Russia was going to face severe consequences. He was threatening sanctions. He was threatening tariffs, also sanctions on countries that do business with Russia, buying their energy and oil. And yet now the president is saying he doesn't need to see a ceasefire, that he wants to see this conflict go straight to a peace agreement.
ABC's Karen Travers. This is ABC News.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something? Boat wins! Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing? Boat wins! Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing? Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat.
Yeah!
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered.
Now, the latest Alliance area news from Jeff Mears on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon, it's 5:02. The Stark County Grand Jury has indicted a former East Canton police officer on charges of theft in office and theft. The secret indictment for 52-year-old Brian Pittman of Louisville was issued last month. He pleaded not guilty during his arraignment Friday in common pleas court. Pittman is accused of submitting false records to be paid for hours he didn't work. The indictment states he took $1,000 or more, but less than $7,500. The alleged activity occurred between June 2024 and January of this year. Pittman resigned in January after more than 2 years with the department. A pretrial hearing is scheduled for August 25th. The Stark County Sheriff's Office is investigating. Alliance City Council will see an ordinance tonight concerning street paving. Says the last pavement condition assessment in 2022 was valuable in deciding the streets to be resurfaced over the next 3 cycles, but is now outdated. A new assessment will be considered at a cost of $30,000. Council will also see legislation to authorize the purchase of 2 police cruisers. The Safety Service Director would spend up to $114,000 with the state's cooperative purchase programs or from the lowest bidder. Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost has secured indictments against 10 Ohioans accused with Medicaid fraud and theft. 9 home health aides and 1 provider of home-delivered meals allegedly billed about $1.9 million for services they did not provide. 2 of those charged are from Canton. 52-year-old Toya Hale and a client were engaged in a kickback scheme that netted them over $10,000. 50-year-old Serena Powell of Canton allegedly used her mother's name and provider credentials to bill Medicaid for services totaling over $5,700. Shearer's Foods is expanding to a former General Motors plant in Southwest Ohio. GM operated an automotive paint plant at the Moraine site for many years before it ceased operations in 2008. Massillon-based Shearer's will produce corn, potato, and tortilla chips in single-serve bags and multi-packs. The company will start up the equipment at the new facility in October or November, with the tortilla line starting December 1st, followed by corn chips and potato chips in early 2026. Expanded production is expected later that year. Shearer's says the landlord had taken measures to allow for food production before Shearer's moved in. It will be the company's 17th production facility. The Highway Patrol is investigating a fatal 2-vehicle crash in Portage County. It happened shortly before 2 p.m. Friday in Rootstown Township. 80-year-old Brian Toohey of Pepper Pike was driving a car eastbound on Sandy Lake Road when he failed to yield at a stop sign at State Route 5. The vehicle collided with a pickup truck heading southwest on Route 5. Toohey and the other driver, a 41-year-old North Canton man, were taken to University Hospital's Portage Medical Center. Toohey died of his injuries. Drugs and alcohol are not suspected factors in the crash. Both drivers were wearing seatbelts. The United School District has unveiled its new K-12 building in Hanoverton. The 16,000 square foot facility was dedicated Saturday. The nearly $50 million building was paid for with $28.9 million in state funding through the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission. The remainder was covered by revenue from the Nexus gas pipeline and a nearby compression station. Construction began in May 2023. Most of the previous facility was demolished last month, with a portion salvaged for renovation. Youngstown police are investigating a shooting on the city's south side that occurred Sunday morning. Officers responding to the intersection of Market Street and Florida Avenue just before 5:30 found 3 women with gunshot wounds. The victims, ages 27, 29, and 32, were taken to Mercy Health. They were listed in stable condition. According to WFMJ-TV, police requested assistance from outside agencies for crowd control. A convicted sex offender arrested in Youngstown after illegally re-entering the United States following deportation to Guatemala is headed to prison. 66-year-old Badilio Ramos was sentenced today by federal judge Pamela Barker to 18 months behind bars. He was given credit for time served and ordered to serve 3 years probation. Ramos pleaded guilty in May to 1 count of illegal re-entry of a removed alien. The Guatemalan national was picked up after authorities received a tip about his status as a sex offender. Ramos previously admitted to entering the U.S. in 1990 on a commercial visa. He was later convicted of molesting a child, served 2.5 years in prison, and was deported. Ramos later re-entered the U.S. and was living in Youngstown for 2 years at the time of his arrest. Youngstown police say twin brothers assaulted a woman during a fight early Friday. 49-year-olds Brian and Ryan Moore of Youngstown were arrested shortly after the alleged incident. Police say the pair followed the victim and her cousin out of a bar on Commerce Street after making advances on the woman. She punched one of the men, and cell phone video showed Brian Moore holding the victim's head on the ground. Ryan Moore was spotted stomping on it before officers arrived. Each man was charged with felonious assault. Brian Moore was also charged with drug possession. They pleaded not guilty Friday during arraignment in Youngstown Municipal Court. The Moores are slated to return August 25th for a preliminary hearing. The owner of the former Trumbull Regional Medical Center in Warren and Hillside Rehabilitation in Howland is being sued by a staffing agency. Advantage Staffing Services alleges Insight Health System hasn't paid them since October 2024. Advantage had worked with the hospital's previous owner, Steward Healthcare, from April 2021 until last September. That's when Insight became responsible for paying for staffing services. Unpaid invoices between October 2024 and February of this year total about $304,000 plus roughly $26,000 in interest. Advantage is demanding Insight pay the amount as well as attorney fees. Foxconn has confirmed future plans for its Lordstown plant. According to Reuters, Chairman Young Liu said SoftBank purchased the facility and along with Foxconn will manufacture data center equipment as part of the Stargate project to advance artificial intelligence infrastructure in the U.S. Foxconn announced earlier this month that it sold the plant and suggested it would continue to operate at the facility. It says the decision was made to enable greater financial flexibility. Foxconn purchased the former General Motors plant in 2022. One person is dead following a shooting in Mansfield on Sunday. Police responded to a report of gunfire in the 200 block of South Main Street. They found one person with a gunshot wound. The victim was pronounced dead at a local hospital. There is no suspect information, and it remains unclear what led up to the shooting. Police said this does not appear to be a random act. Democratic leaders are lauding Ohio's Sherrod Brown now that he's launched his 2026 campaign to return to the U.S. Senate. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee Chair Kristen Gillibrand today touted Brown's past advocacy for workers' retirement and Social Security benefits and said he'll stand up to what they described as the chaos and recklessness in Washington. Brown said he couldn't stay on the sideline after passage of Republicans' big tax breaks and spending cuts bill. The 72-year-old Brown is brushing aside last year's loss to Republican Bernie Moreno. Brown seeks the seat held by Republican John Husted. Husted's campaign said Brown pushed radical liberal policies as a senator. State aviation officials last week denied the Cleveland Browns an initial construction permit to build a new stadium near Hopkins Airport, saying the proposed height of the stadium would obstruct air traffic. The Browns reacted with confusion, pointing to the FAA's conclusion earlier this year that the stadium would pose no airspace hazards. It's unclear how ODOT's decision might affect the team's timeline for the $2.4 billion stadium, which calls for work to begin early next year. Taking a look at Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed today at 44,911, down 34 points. The Nasdaq Composite ended the day 7 points higher at 21,629, and the S&P 500 closed at 6,449, down a fraction of a point. It's 81 degrees in Alliance at 5:09. This is the local edition of WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Here's the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Forecast calling for sunny skies this afternoon with a high near 81 degrees, light northeast winds, patchy fog overnight, otherwise mostly clear, low around 59. Patchy fog early Tuesday, otherwise sunshine and a high near 88. For Wednesday, a 40% chance of showers or thunderstorms, otherwise partly sunny, a high near 86. Thursday, mostly sunny, a high of 84. That's your WDPN weather.
Live from the AM 1310 WDPN studio, it's time for live and local sports talk. It's the Sam Bourquin Show.
I'm ready.
Give the show a call at 330-821-1310.
Good call, meatball.
Watch the Sam Bourquin Show on the AM 1310 Facebook page, the Q92 YouTube page, and on X. This is the Sam Bourquin Show on AM 1310 WDPN.
More of the zone, and Shaman drives one to right on the run. Acuna, he dives, can't get it. It'll go to the wall. Jones scores. Here comes Stephen Kwan. He scores two, all the way to third with a two-run triple.
First pitch is by third. Reds win. Hayes hammers it down the line. Friedel scores.
Mookie hits a high fly ball, left field and deep. This ball is gone. First third down for Chicago. 3rd and 5. Williams in rhythm again. There's Zacchaeus, and Alameda Zacchaeus takes it to the end zone for the Bears touchdown. Sheffler. Can you believe what you just saw?
And welcome in, everybody. It's hour 3 of the Sam Bourquin Show. Greetings from the Carnation City, AM 1310 WDPN. Sam Bourquin here, Ryan Rainsberg on the other side. Don't forget Steve King from BrownsDailyDose.com is coming your way at 5:35, about 5:27 today on this day in sports history. I mean, what's coming up on this day in sports history? We got a couple of retirements today, and pretty good feat by George Brett back in 1980. That's all part of on this day in sports history coming up. All right, let's reset. Get those phone numbers out there to you: 330-821-1310, 330-821-1310. Text line always open at 330-924-7088. Don't forget, you can watch and listen to our show Monday through Friday, 3 until 6 on the WDPN Facebook page, the WDPN X or Twitter page, and, of course, the Q92 radio page on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button while you're there, too. That'll pop up. Now, when you get your electronic device on, it'll pop up. Boom, show's on. Here we go. Let's go. Good to have you today. Poll question of the day. Oh, it's been a good one. Let me reset this baby real quick so I can give you the up to the date votes. Now, because I posted separately on Facebook and X, there's going to be two different sets of results. On the 1310 WDPN Facebook page, poll question of the day. I love that. 527 votes so far today. Who is going to be the number 2 quarterback? Shedeur Sanders with 456 votes. Actually, wait a minute. This is not right. We're well over 600 votes now, by the way. Go to our Facebook page, 1310 WDPN. Shedeur, 456 votes. Kenny Pickett has 43. And Dylan Gabriel has 26. It is a landslide. People want Shedeur Sanders to be the number 1 quarterback. Who do you think the number 2 quarterback will be behind Joe Flacco? Let us know on our social media platforms, or you can drop us a comment on the Q92 radio page on YouTube. You can do that right now as you watch and listen to the program. Whew, that is a landslide. Now, that's on Facebook. All right, let's go to X. And I'm going to give you the results there for our poll question of the day. Who should the number 2 quarterback be behind Joe Flacco? So far, 63% Shedeur Sanders, 31% Kenny Pickett, 6% Dylan Gabriel. That's on the 1310 WDPN Twitter or X page. That poll is going to be up until midnight. Make sure you get your vote in. Also, make sure you follow us on 1310 WDPN. Give us a follow. Take you 2 seconds. Click that button. You're in. Give us a follow and a like and a share on Facebook, too. Hit that button. You're in. Love to interact with you here Monday through Friday, 3 until 6, 1310 WDPN. Browns did release they updated their 53-man roster projection. We'll talk to Steve about that coming up. If you missed it, Joe Flacco earlier today was named the official QB1 for the Cleveland Browns. Do you think the Browns and Bengals will get together on a possible trade for Trey Hendrickson? He has not signed with the Bengals. Apparently, the talk is out there for a possible trade. Why Cincinnati won't pay this guy? Well, here I know why. Because they gave all their money to Joe Burrow, and they gave all their money to Jamar Chase, and they gave all their money to the other wide receiver. Now, there's a way that they can figure this out. But right now, he's not in camp. And as of right now, he's not going to be ready to go for opening day. Contract talks have just stalled. It's like it's a good old-fashioned stalemate. The Bengals reportedly are listening to trade offers for Hendrickson. NFL Network reported Sunday, Cincinnati's open. They're open for business. Meanwhile, The Athletic said that they've been listening for 2 weeks. I don't know if that's 100% true or not. The asking price for Hendrickson is reportedly significant as the Bengals seek defensive players as well as draft capital. That's per The Athletic's Diana Rossini. They're talking about a young defensive player at a first-round pick as compensation for a potential trade. Trey Hendrickson's a stud. But I don't know if he's going to get a contract extension agreement with the Bengals. I don't know if that's going to happen. But their defense stinks. So the Bengals really need to sign him. Saw a trade proposal floated around on X. See what you say about this. The Browns get Trey Hendrickson in exchange for Kenny Pickett, Greg Newsome, and a first-round pick. Huh. Would you do that? Would you make that move? Again, this is just out there. Pickett, Newsome, and a first-round pick for Trey Hendrickson. A lot of the fodder on social media, people are saying absolutely not. Browns can't do that. I might explore that move a little bit. I might explore that move. Obviously, we have a million quarterbacks in camp. Okay? I mean, Greg Newsome's good. It's not Lester Sanders. It's not Paul Krause. Come on. Browns fans, they always overinflate the value in the abilities of their players. You ever notice that? Need to back that down a little bit. Greg Newsome is good. He is not the second coming of Rod Woodson. He's not. Now you're talking about giving up a first-round pick. But remember, you've got one, and you may be possibly able to pick up another if you would, do some things. Trey Hendrickson for Kenny Pickett, Greg Newsome, and first-round pick. Yay or nay? Would you do that? I would certainly pick up the phone. I would certainly pick up the phone. No question. Because I think my number 2 QB probably would be Shador, and then I would go to Dylan Gabriel. And I got Kenny Pickett as trade bait. I would certainly pick up the phone there. Now, I don't know what kind of money Hendrickson's looking for, and I hate to give up a number 1. Somehow I got to figure out a way to get a number 1 back somehow for somebody else for in another deal. I have to have a number one pick next year. I have to. I gotta have a first round pick. Quite honestly, I wish we had two. But if Trey Hendrickson is everything he has been since he put on a Cincinnati Bengals uniform, I am certainly open to talks. Now, here's the thing. Is that deal even possible because it's within the division? When's the last time the Browns and Bengals did a trade? When's the last time those two teams did business together? I'm sure it's happened over the decades of the league, but I can't remember if it did or not. But if you're looking to fire up that defense, Trey Hendrickson is a good place to start. I'm okay with giving up Newsom. I am. I'm okay with giving up Pickett. I really don't want to give up a first-round pick. Maybe I could squeeze the Bengals, give them a couple of twos. Maybe. I don't want to part with that. I don't. Here is where I am a typical Cleveland Browns fan. I don't want to give up my draft picks. I don't want to give up my number ones. I just don't want to do it. Because there's always that, hey, what if we actually had somebody who could make a right selection? And I just keep holding on to that for years and years and years. One of these days, we're going to nail it. One of these days, we're going to nail it. Can you see big Trey Hendrickson in a Browns uniform? Come on now. You got to admit that's worth thinking about. It's worth picking up the phone. Hell, I wouldn't wait for the Bengals to call. I'd call them. I would call them. And say, hey, I'll give you Pickett. I'll give you Newsom. And I'll give you number 2 next year. Maybe I'll give you number 3 the following year. You're not getting my number 1. I'm not giving that up. Nope. But again, the Bengals and Browns are not going to do business with each other inside the same division. I would be absolutely shocked at that. I really would. Have you seen Trey Hendrickson play? I know he plays for the Bengals, and usually when the Browns are on, you're not watching Cincinnati. I get it. They've been on enough primetime games the last couple of years. That dude can play. He can play. And he's like relatively young. You're still getting him, pre-prime and prime. I would certainly think about it. You have to think about it. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's probably not going to happen. You know what's going to happen? The Bengals are probably going to find a way. They're going to find common ground, and they're going to sign him, and he's going to be out there for the first game against the Browns. Probably have a couple of strip sacks, a fumble recovery, 15 tackles, a quarterback sack. They'll probably work it out. Just like the Cowboys and Micah Parsons are probably going to work it out. But, there's not that much time in between now and the first game of the regular season. I mean, there's not a ton of time to sit and screw around. One more preseason game for everybody. And then, you get that little downtime, that little week away before we start things up. If I'm the Browns, I am picking up the phone and I am going to make a call to the 513 area code down there in Cincinnati. Just feel the Bengals out a little bit. Gauge their interest level. Sam, I thought the Browns did have 2 first-round picks in 26. Maybe we do. I have to look that up during the break. I thought we did, then I didn't think we did. Now I'm starting to think we do. Oh, if I have two, yeah, I'm going to do that trade. I'm going to do it right now. Get me Trey Hendrickson right now. You can have Pickett. You can have my number one. And you can have Newsom. Take him. Get me Trey. Let's go. All right. It is time for On This Day in Sports History. And on this day in 1980, George Brett of the Kansas City Royals had his batting average reach 400. That will probably never happen again. I don't think you'll ever see a major league player get to 400. That's tough. It's tough to get to 300. George Brett got to 400 on this day in 1980. How about this? Remember this on this day in 1981? Herschel Walker of Georgia took out an insurance policy with Lloyd's of London. The All-American was insured for $1 million. On this day in 1982, the longest baseball game played at Wrigley Field in Chicago went 21 innings. The Dodgers would eventually, finally, beat the Chicago Cubs by the score of 2-1. On this day in 1996, Frank Thomas of the Chicago White Sox became the fourth player to reach 100 RBI in each of his first 6 seasons in Major League Baseball. All right, it's audio time. Let's go back to 1987. Earl Campbell announced his retirement from the National Football League. Remember Earl from Texas, played for the Oilers, loved you blue, played a little bit for the Saints. He retired in 1987. Let's go back to one of his runs at the Houston Astrodome against the Los Angeles Rams, where he just ran over everybody and also lost his entire jersey on his way to the goal line. Let's pick up the call.
10-3 Los Angeles, and here goes Earl Campbell. He knocked Robertson on his back.
Watch out! Beautiful, beautiful.
Oh, wow. They're going wild in Houston.
Oh.
Everybody's happy.
I'm going wild up here.
Beautiful running.
How?
Now, I don't know who the color analyst was, but he needs to shut his mouth. Let Vin Scully describe that incredible run by Earl Campbell. YouTube that run by Earl Campbell with the Houston Oilers. Fascinating. Also on this day in 1992, Larry Bird, after 13 years with the Boston Celtics, announced he was retiring.
I would like to play a little bit longer, maybe a year or two more, but there's just no way possible I was going to be able to do that. So today I'm retiring, and I'm still going to be around, but not in the capacity I once was. This is not a sad day. It's a very emotional day, but it's not really a sad day because I knew this day was going to come sometime, and I sort of prepared myself, but once you sign the papers and say you're retired, or once you get up here in front of these people, it's a little bit different.
What a career he had. The great Larry Bird on this day retired in 1992. All right, news and weather is next. Coming up at 5:35, Steve King from BrownsDailyDose.com. Boy, that should be a great conversation. Stick around. Much more to come. 1310 WDPN.
Now, the latest area news on AM 1310 WDPN.
Good afternoon. It's 5:30. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and President Trump are expressing hopes that talks with Ukrainian and European leaders at the White House could lead to bilateral talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin to bring an end to Russia's war on Ukraine.
We're going to have a lasting peace. I hope it's going to be immediately. I hope it doesn't have to go on. And I think people in the whole world is going to be very happy when that's announced.
Today's meeting comes after Trump met Friday with Putin and has said that the onus is now on Zelensky to agree to concessions that he said could end the conflict. Trump said he would back European security guarantees for Ukraine if we stopped short of committing U.S. troops to the effort. President Trump says he'll sign an executive order to get rid of mail-in ballots and voting machines, repeating claims they lead to voter fraud. Those claims have been refuted by multiple courts, election offices, audits, and other security checks in several elections. Here's Trump in the Oval Office today speaking about his administration's efforts to eliminate mail-in ballots.
We're going to start with an executive order that's being written right now by the best lawyers in the country to end mail-in ballots.
Trump's comments contradict efforts made by his own party last year during the 2024 election, which encouraged the use of mail-in and early voting, hoping to turn out voters. Texas Democrats have ended a 2-week walkout that stalled efforts to redraw congressional districts as part of a national partisan brawl over President Trump's desire to reshape U.S. House maps to his advantage. Their return today to the Texas Capitol allows the Republican-led legislature to proceed as California Democrats advance a counter-effort to redraw their congressional boundaries in retaliation. The tit-for-tat puts the nation's two most populous states at the center of an expanding fight over control of Congress ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. Conservative media outlet Newsmax is paying more than $100 million to settle defamation claims brought by voting machine companies. ABC's Brian Clark has more on the latest settlement.
Newsmax says it stands by its coverage as fair, balanced, and conducted within professional standards, but agreed to pay Dominion Voting Systems $67 million in a settlement. A Delaware judge had ruled that Newsmax defamed Dominion by airing false information after the 2020 election. A jury was going to decide how much Newsmax would have to pay.
It's 80 degrees on Alliance at 5:32. This is WDPN News. I'm Jeff Mears.
Now, the Alliance Area Weather Forecast on AM 1310 WDPN.
Forecast for the afternoon calling for sunshine with a high near 81 degrees, light northeast winds, patchy fog overnight, otherwise mostly clear, low around 59. Patchy fog lingering Tuesday morning, otherwise sunny with a high near 88. For Wednesday, 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny, a high near 86. Thursday, mostly sunny, a high of 84. That's your WDPN weather.
1310 WDPN. It is the Sam Bourquin Show. Welcome back, everybody. Don't forget Steve King from Brown's Daily Dose coming up in a couple of minutes. All right. Yes, we do have 2 number 1 draft picks next year. 2 first-round picks, I should say. Remember we got the one where we traded to Jacksonville? Remember when we traded down in the draft so they could pick up the wideout from Colorado? Yeah, we got 2. Oh, I'm making that deal right now. Let's go. I'm making that deal. Trey Hendrickson for Newsom. Pickett and a first rounder. I'm probably gonna, now that I was positive almost that we had 2 first rounders. But then I overthought it. I was like, all right, let's go back and look it up. Oh, that's right. We got that second one from Jacksonville. So I would really think about making that deal. I would. Would you? 330-821-1310. I'm definitely thinking about doing that. Boy, lots of stuff going on. Never, is there ever a dull moment? There is not. There is never a dull moment. That's why we love doing what we do. All right, it is that time, 5:35, right on the dot. Let's bring in our good friend, Steve King, Brown's Daily Dose, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WDPN. Steve, good afternoon, buddy. How was your weekend?
It was great. Fantastic. I enjoyed watching them win another football game.
Yeah. I
know it's preseason, Sam, but I wrote something, and I'm right at the head of the list. You know, these scores don't mean anything, but I think in the case of a team like the Browns that's trying to find its way, I think it does a little bit. In that, let's reverse everything. Let's say the Browns got hammered 30-10 and played like the Panthers did in their first game. let's say that the Browns played like the Eagles did, especially at the start of the game, and especially offensively, okay, and they had ended up losing at home, in 2 games. They were 0-2. Would you rather have that? Would you rather the Browns have played like the Eagles and the Panthers, or would you rather they played like that? I mean, if the Browns had played like the Eagles and the Panthers, we'd all be sitting here thinking, oh boy, here it comes. This is playing out just like we thought, but they're not. And, there are some bright things on this football team. Now, we're not printing Super Bowl tickets, and maybe we're not even, bobbing our head above 500, but, there's some things to be excited about. You got 2 quarterbacks that didn't look like rookie quarterbacks that were scared out of their gourd. They played well. So let's if we have to be honest, we're going to hammer them when they play poorly. Let's do the other when they play well.
Steve, I agree, especially with the fact because I thought Shedeur looked well, considering, and I always look at the situation. Okay, look at who we're playing. Are they playing their 1s or 2s or 3s? I look at the context of the game, the play calling, all that. Thought he played pretty well. His first time out, the bright lights. Thought he managed the team well. He looked good. Same thing with Gabriel. Now, I know there was the pick 6. That was a bad decision. Okay, you're going to learn from that. But again, running the team, getting them in him out of the huddle, looking over the defense. I thought he played pretty well. Now, I will tell you this. There was a couple of times during the telecast, and I was watching, I think it was NFL Network, and then they were showing it on Channel 5. There was a couple of times, Steve, when Gabriel was in there, they would do a panoramic shot, and they would take it, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, like when Gabriel was breaking the huddle. And I said, oh, my God, he looks like he's 5'7" out there with these other giants. I don't know what his official height and weight is, but could that become a problem at some point, Steve?
Well, it's but you remember Brian Sipes.
Oh, yeah.
And Brian Sipes
Love
found
Brian
avenues and ways to get the ball through. Now, it's not like he was 6'5" yesterday and he woke up this morning, he's 5'10". He's played like this, and he's played at a high level. He played at Oregon. They won the Big Ten championship. They got slobber knocked by Ohio State in the playoff game, but they won the Big Ten championship. So you remember that game against Ohio State, the first one, he made plays.
Oh yeah.
So and that's NFL talent that was playing against him. So yeah, you'd rather he be 6'5", but if he's 6'5", does he have all the football intelligence that because he's had to have that to be at that size? You have to be able to really be smart. You have to be able to read defenses and all that. So there's other ways to make up for that.
Steve King is our guest, does a great job covering the Browns. Browns Daily Dose. Check him out on the social media platforms. That's Browns Daily Dose. Steve, the worst-kept secret in the NFL today, Joe Flacco named the official starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. And I said, what I think a fun poll question today would be, who's going to be the number 2? Is it going to be Pickett, Shedeur, Gabriel? We've had great response. Most, though, are going with Shedeur as their backup. Who do you think it should be?
You know what? This is like a moving target. Because this is, nobody expected the injuries. Everybody thought everything through, thinking, okay, everybody's healthy. We get to this point, and it just hasn't worked out that way. The kid that I thought, and I wrote it. I thought, way back that the kid that I thought was going to be the starter was Pickett.
Yep.
And I think that, that he was the guy that had the most chance of all 4 players. It wasn't going to be Flacco because Flacco's not going to play 5 more years.
Right.
But he had the guy that had a chance based on where he was drafted and whatever. Circle back and be a guy that one of these guys in this second or third team. All of a sudden the light comes on. He had to. Well, he hasn't played because of his hamstring. So they've got a tough job up there right now setting a depth chart. Now they have an even tougher job trying to figure out. Do we keep 3? Do we keep 4? What do we do? So there's a lot of interesting things going on. But I think right now, I would say Shedeur Sanders only because he's bigger.
Okay.
But, and Pickett is, and these hamstrings they can linger a long time.
Yep.
I remember when, Michael Jackson got a hamstring.
The wide receiver. Yeah.
Yeah. The night, and stupid me. I asked Belichick about 4 weeks into this. Hey, and basically, is this really? Is he really hurt? And if looks could kill, I'd be dead. But,
he gave you the scowl, did he?
Yeah, he just wanted to look at me and said, "I'll kill you." So that type of look. So,
yeah.
But so these hamstrings things linger. It's not like a broken bone or a sore. It's just. It's a hard thing, and then when you get cleared by the doctors, it's not always a thing. Well, you're back. You stretch it and you pull it again. Remember, at the end of his career, Frank Minifield had all kind of hamstring issues.
Yep.
The other team they saw him out there would run a fly pattern on the first play to see if they could pull his hamstring.
Yep, you're right.
Make him chase somebody down the field, and it's just very hard. But it's interesting thing, and you know what? And it's you have 4 guys that I think could play a little bit. It's not like you got 2 guys and 2 others that and it's something to look at, and they're going to have to manage that. Now, I will tell you the interesting thing I heard, and I listened to the game on the Eagles radio network with the iconic
Merrill Reese. Yeah,
my God, he's been doing games for almost 50 years.
I know.
And Mike Quick, a former wide receiver there. They were very impressed with the Browns. At one point there, you could just see the silence in the stadium. And at one point in there, Merrill Reese said, the Browns look like they're very prepared, and they're very well coached. He says that goes to Kevin Stefanski, and Mike Quick says, that's obvious. Yes, that's absolutely true. So while we pile on Kevin Stefanski, and I'm at the head of that list, we've been piling on the Browns, hey, they came out and they look like a football team and their coach. And you remember about 3 weeks ago, he was ranked by, I think it was Pro Football Focus, ranked as the 10th best head coach in the league.
Yeah.
So we can argue with that. We can fight about that. But somebody who doesn't have a dog in the fight thinks he's the 10th best head coach in the league. It is going to cause me now to go back and look and just see. And they were very impressed with the way the Browns played, the way they were prepared, the way they just looked like they had been well coached. And there's something to be said for that. If you're going to have young players, you better make sure they're well coached, because it's not like they've been there and done it already, because they haven't.
Steve, the next question would be for me now. I don't know if an NFL team has ever brought 4 quarterbacks in the room to start a season. Maybe they have. I don't know. But is that something that is possible, or do you somehow have to find a way to go in with 3? Maybe you trade the 4th. Maybe I don't know if you can hide them on a practice squad at this point. But what do you think that they will do by the time the opener rolls around?
That's a great question. I think at least 3. Here's what and Sam, every year in every team, in every sport, every football place that they play football, from my old alma mater, Manchester, all the way up to the Buckeyes, to the Browns, wherever it is, it's who's going to be the quarterback. So with all that, you can't have a good team at any level unless you have a quarterback. So I'm not against keeping 4, because you got to figure it out. This rebuild does not start in its real, really start until they figure out the quarterback.
Right.
So if you think you have 4 guys that could play, let's put them out there and see what happens and practice and get everybody healthy and see. But you think about a trade, and then, down the road, and maybe only down the road a week or so, somebody's begging to get a quarterback because they've got a team ready to go, and their backup can't get out of his own way. They give you something for a Flacco or for Kenny Pickett. I don't know. But when you have quarterbacks who can play, you're in an advantageous spot, and I would not be against 4, because we're not going to keep an extra safety. The Browns aren't going to keep an extra linebacker. Hey, okay, great. You don't win championships with linebackers and safeties. You win them mostly with quarterbacks. Let's figure this out. If you had two guys there that couldn't play, that's an easy decision. But you have four that you can make a case for them contributing to the team in 2025.
Steve King is our guest. Yeah, it's a crazy thing to even have to go through. But I mean, if you go in with four, you go in with four. But here's the thing, and I know you've been following this. The Bengals and Trey Hendrickson, and they seem miles apart right now. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I just saw a proposed trade on X, and I want to get your thoughts on it, even though I know the Browns and Bengals will never do business. But it's out there. The Browns would get Trey Hendrickson. We would trade Pickett, Greg Newsome, and a first-round pick. Would you be interested?
Yeah, you know what? I
would be,
because here's what, the edge rushers have now become, I don't know, they're up on the top of the most important players on any team. And if you got Myles Garrett on one side, and who knows how much longer he plays, and you got Trey Hendrickson on the other, you're coming at the quarterback from two sides.
Yeah.
I think anyone that really has a good pass rusher, take the Detroit Lions. You take Hendrickson on one side, and you put the kid from Michigan on the other, and what do they do? And if we're speaking of the Lions, they need a backup quarterback. They're one play away from being the Lions of 19 whatever,
right?
And trying to get out of their own way. You got to have a backup quarterback. So we can, maybe the Browns have happened upon something here. Gather quarterbacks together and let them fight it out, and then we're gonna make competition, and we have a quarterback we can go forward with. And you remember Mike Holmgren talked about all the time, every year when they were in Seattle, we drafted a quarterback.
Yep.
Every year.
Every year.
Project we took. So you're not drafting an extra, left tackle. You're not drafting an extra strong. You're drafting a quarterback because that's where it starts. And, I'm bullish on that. And I don't think it's, if you worry about what everybody else is thinking about you, whether it's, Mike Florio on Pro Football Talk or this guy or that guy, and they got four quarterbacks. What in God's name are they doing? Well, maybe they've happened upon something. Let's fight this out with the quarterbacks and see. I'd rather have an extra quarterback than I would an extra, inside linebacker.
Oh, me too. Me too. Steve King is our guest.
That sounds crazy. I really do.
Yeah.
And you don't know. This is all good. They get down to the final roster cut, okay, in a week or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden, day later, it changes because everybody's grabbing and pulling and getting players they need. It's almost like a transfer portal in college. Everybody's out there, getting players. So this is going to change. But hey, they're 2-0. They've got four quarterbacks that maybe can play. It could be a lot worse.
Steve King is our guest. BrownsDailyDose.com. I see we reportedly signed Isaiah Bond today, 3 years, $3 million. The young fellow was in trouble with the alleged sexual assault charge. He got a no bill. He was free to go, and the Browns have picked him up. I know the kid can fly. I know he made a really, really, really extra special big catch in college football for Alabama one year against Georgia. What else does this kid have? What kind of receiver is he? Where's the fit?
A guy that has that speed to get down the field like that is, you just can't put a worth on it. It's priceless. And, I was thinking as I was waiting for this interview, if a year ago someone had said the Browns would have Isaiah Bond and they'd have Shadur Sanders, you would have been excited. But you forget about everything happened afterwards. And they had Dylan Gabriel. Now that's exciting. And let's put our priest outfits in the corner, and let's all not be like, live in the glass house and, don't throw stones at us. Think about this. Go back to those Browns, both the Cardiac Kids and the Browns of the Kozar era. Hey, Sam told me some of the members that were in the part of the inner circle.
Inner circle, yep.
You'd be shocked.
Yeah.
You would be shocked. The Browns would not have come close to doing what they did in the Cardiac Kids era if those guys had not gotten a second chance. And you think of, and the Browns of the, with the Kozar era. Kevin Mack. It's full of guys that they stumbled and they picked themselves back up and went. And so Chip Banks, he never solved his problems, but there was another guy.
Mm-hmm.
Just, these guys aren't perfect. A lot of them come from tough situations. They get money and that's a bad mix. So let's if he's a habitual guy in terms of Bond, in terms of what he's doing and he's in trouble again in 2 weeks, then it's a bad decision. But let's just give this kid a second chance, just like we give everybody else. Now, this is not the same situation to me as it is or was and continues to be with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson did it again and again and again and again and again. Let's hope that maybe that this is one really stupid thing this guy did or allegedly did or whatever, got mixed up in this whatever it is, and that he turns himself around, that he decides I've got an opportunity here and do it. And hey, there's these guys aren't perfect. Let's give him a chance and let's, do your due diligence, and this is where the NFL is now. Try to find players. Now, when you've gone through the Watson experience, that doesn't look good. I mean, you failed miserably. Let's see if they've done a better job with this one.
Steve, with the Rams coming up, first of all, do we know Kenny Pickett's situation? Like as far as the hamstring, would they be willing to put him out there? Do you think Shedeur will see any action with his oblique? Who do we think will play against the Rams and how long?
Tyler Huntley. I think they would like to get the two rookies in and get them some playing time. That's what I think. And Pickett, getting that hamstring, it's all. I mean, it could be a game time decision with those guys because of it. But I think in a perfect world, they don't want they don't. Maybe play Flacco or Sir. I don't know. Maybe not play him at all. But Pickett, get him out there because he's a viable number 2 guy. But you don't know because he hasn't played. It's not like you can just turn it on and you haven't practiced. So they'd like to get him out there and maybe use all 3 of the young guys and then Huntley. Just get through the game. This is where, Sam, instead of having preseason games, everybody talks about it. Have these combined practices.
Yep.
Well, you can put your player in there and say, okay, we're going to work on goal line. And, okay, I'm not going to put him in harm's way in this drill. I'm moving him over to this drill. That, to me, that is a whole lot better work. And I think that's the way we're moving. I hope that's the way they're moving because these preseason games, some of them are unwatchable. But if you have players with injuries, you could spot them. Hey, this kid's got a hamstring. Put him under center and let's get him handing off. Let's get some short throws, something like that, instead of putting him in game situation where somebody's coming in trying to take his head off.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know. I had that conversation. It might have been with Freddie Greetham. I forget who it was, but I think, I don't know how long it will be, Steve, but within the next 3, 5, 8, 10 years, you might not have any preseason games, and you might just have joint practices throughout the whole league. Now, they'd have to come up with some way to come up with revenue somehow after missing the games. But that's the whole thing there, right?
Absolutely. And I will tell you, the first Browns game I ever saw in 1964 at the Rubber Bowl, the Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And both teams had played their starters, and everybody's trying to win. And, and I can remember getting on the phone and telling, years later, I talked to Clifton McNeil, and for one of those "Where Are They Now" stories when I was working for the Browns, and I said, I saw your 99-yard touchdown pass from Frank Ryan. I even told him which way he was running at the Rubber Bowl. Sam, I thought he was going to jump through the phone and give me a big kiss on the lips. He screamed, he yelled, he was so excited. We talked about it for 20 minutes. That's the way those things used to be, and now it's like, we're trying to. It's a tough situation. We want guys to get playing time. We want everybody to get tackled to the ground.
Yep.
We don't want anybody to get hurt.
Right.
And this is going forward. Is going to be the big thing in the league. Some coaches are going to have to change the way they do business, because if you don't practice something, you're not going to get good at it. At the same time, you're going to not get hurt. But how many times in week one do you see guys that just aren't ready? The games are as bad as the preseason games.
Yep.
Only this time they count.
Yep. And Steve, we're headed toward 18 regular season games. Yeah. So now you're down to 2. So at that point, I mean, decisions will have to be made. No doubt.
Yeah, and that's the 18, and then I don't think in our lifetime it's going to go any higher than that. It's almost impossible. But if we're going to play games, let's play them to count, and then you have you expand the rosters and such. But you've got, ask the Bengals. Every year they start off slowly. It's because they're hiding everybody on the sidelines instead of playing them, and again they're not ready to play. So it's cost them playoff spots. Football is a contact sport. You could be, running down the field and all of a sudden you get an Achilles. No, it's a non-contact injury. You don't want to put them out there every play, but you got to get guys ready to go. You got to, and playing and practicing every day isn't going to do it. You got to give them some live competition against somebody else from another team. And again, those controlled practices are great because you can put them in specific situations where you can see them play and do the things that you want to see them do. And you're not, you're not putting them in harm's way any more than you would in any other situation.
Steve, always a pleasure. Great stuff today. We will continue to follow you and publicize your great work. Browns Daily Dose. Check them out. Steve King covering your Cleveland Browns. Steve, always a pleasure. Thanks for coming on today again.
Sam, it just gets better. We never have a bad conversation, do we?
We do not. No matter what, we do not. Thanks, partner.
Thank you.
There you go. Steve King, Browns Daily Dose. Check them out on all of your social media platforms. All right, we got about a minute or so to go here. Real quick before we go, I want to check one more time our poll question. Who do you think the Browns' number 2 quarterback will be behind Joe Flacco? And right now on X, Shador, 61%. Kenny Pickett at 33%. And Dylan Gabriel and Tyler Huntley kind of fighting it out there for the last 5 or 6%. On Facebook, though, it is a runaway. Shador Sanders all the way to be the Browns' number 2 QB. All right. You hear Phil warming up in the background. I want to thank my producer extraordinaire there, Ryan Rainsberg. Great job, as always. Thanks to all the callers, emailers, texters, and commenters today on our social media platforms. Appreciate all you do. And don't forget, we'll come back and do it all over again tomorrow at 3 right here on AM 1310 WDPN. Don't forget Guardians tonight and Arizona. First pitch at 9:40 out in the desert. All right, go Browns, go Guards, go Bucks, go Cavs. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.